Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next 3 hours. Right here with Spence.
Good morning. I don't think 3 hours is enough. I think we should go with 6.
Lately, we've been doing it about 3 hours, and the day seems a lot longer because we can do a lot more around the house.
Yes.
So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, we'll go farther, but 3 hours is good.
You see me leaving at 12 generally, just because of that. I have the list of things to do. So you missed it. I just had to adjust. I'd gone to the hairstylist and had these beautiful blue highlights in my hair, but I was able to adjust them out.
Mike is going to be a little late this morning. Bruce is still trying to.
Yeah, he says he can't get into Skype in.
I know. I don't see him on my Skype. And let's see what's the last.
Yeah, he shows as being offline.
Well, he's showing that last seen on Skype was at 7:55. So he was, and now he can't get back in or something.
Well?
Oh, well, it's fine. It's okay. He'll be back.
So I've been off wandering in the
Wait a second. Let me finish the intro. Our number is 919-518-9773 and Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by that Vid Blaster guy, Tom Sinclair. You can watch the shows at www.thatvidblasterguy.com, which is also the software that we're using. You were saying, Spence?
And he is that Vid Blaster.
Oh, he is. He is that Vid Blaster guy.
There ain't nobody else.
Nope.
Well, I was saying that I've been off wandering in the wilderness for the last few weeks. Finally got back after going through...
So tell us. Do tell.
Well, it was rather interesting. I mean, there were a lot of things happening, just and I won't go into great detail, but there was just some family business that had to happen that required going down to Florida and on a weekend, and then after that we went on vacation. We actually went on a sorry about the wobble on my camera. I'll show the setup.
That's okay. It's all right. It's fine.
A bit of wobble, but we went on a vacation. Took I'll say it, a Carnival cruise.
Oh, you one of those that got the 50% off?
I did, and I was thinking that. We were thinking after this happened, I mean, it wasn't, we were on the Carnival Legend, and it was not affecting the operation of the ship itself. It was affecting the speed. And so we just missed some ports and had to leave early to get back in Tampa on time. So we got in earlier than normal. We skipped a port and left a day early to come back so they could get some people in there to try to fix these engines. But we had a cabin on the back of the ship. The first time we've ever done this was a balcony. I said, let's give it a try. And it was literally looking off the back of the ship, so you could look at the prop wash behind the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm out there. We're leaving Tampa. It's like 6 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, and we're leaving. And I'm looking, and I'm going, this doesn't look right. One side is a lot more thrust and a lot more cavitation from the props, and the other side says this is uneven. That's weird. The starboard side is much lower than the port side. I was like, I don't know. And they didn't hear anything about it. We got to Cozumel okay, and then we left that night, and they said we're having trouble with the engines. We're working on it. We just can't go that fast. So. Wind up going.
As long as they didn't give you paddles and stuff, right?
No paddles.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Nobody jumping in the water, swimming with a rope around their neck. But the operations of the ship were fine. I mean, everything worked on board. They didn't have any power issues with the generators. It was those. The ship has these things called azipods, which are these giant It looks like a jet engine with a propeller on the end that's attached to the bottom of the ship, and it turns and provides the propulsion. It's an electric motor in a separate body that sits under the ship. So it's not the actual motor is not in the ship; it's external, and they have generators on board that power these giant electric motors. And one side was hosed up. So we stopped at a port halfway. It was supposed to go from Cozumel to Belize, and we made it to Costa Maya, which is about halfway. And they said, we're going to work on it during the day again. And we left that night, and you could tell they were testing it. It was sitting in the dining room, and you'd hear the engines come up to full speed like for 2 minutes and then stop. And everybody's going, they think it's broken again. And sure enough, it was still messed up. So we went to the skipped another port, went to Honduras, and then decided to actually leave a day early to come back to Tampa. So we were at 2 days at sea coming back. But we got in midnight on Saturday night, which is unusual. But I have no issues with the way the ship was operated. I remember we were on the ship watching CNN, and they were talking about our ship. And they were talking about the other ship in St. Martin that was actually flying people home because they had problems with the toilets again. So it was interesting that the commentator on the news story was a cruise ship expert, and he's saying everybody's talking about this like it's a PR problem for Carnival. No, it's not a PR problem. It's an operational problem, and it's causing them to have PR issues. But something's not right.
It's happening too often.
In their defense, they are the low-cost cruise line. Not that they should skimp on safety or security or anything like that. And that's I think, what's happening is they cater to a lower-cost fare. And there are other ones out there you pay $100, $200 more for the week, but they don't seem to have these issues. At least not as often as Carnival does. I'll show you a picture in a second. I actually made a snarky remark on Facebook. I made a post.
You're not going to be banned from any further cruises.
I might be. If they see it, they might take away my 50% off the next cruise. They did refund. This was interesting. They did give us each $100 credit towards the shipboard account, which resulted in getting back a $150 check. Because we're not big drinkers. We didn't spend a lot of money on the ship. And they canceled our shore excursion. The one and only shore excursion that we did pay for, they canceled it. So we got that credit. So we wound up getting $150 back. So
nice. Hello, Steve.
Oh, something's not working right. I'm not hearing any. Well, very there in the background. Hello, if you can hear me.
We can hear you.
Who are you again?
Who are we?
Strange.
I
can hear
Steve?
you, but you're like a million miles away. Well, sorry, 999,900. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Beers on the wall.
I'm gone for 2 weeks and I can't remember anything.
You carry on, and I'll sort it out this end.
Oh, Bruce says he's ringing, but
I know.
nobody's answering.
I don't see him.
That's weird. He's on the other Skype.
No, he's not.
That's the North Korean Skype. Get off that Skype. That's the fake one.
Spence, you're kind of hot. Can you lower your mic a little bit?
Yes, I can. Yeah,
Bruce, I see you. I see that you're online now, but it shows. Yeah. Okay, that's Nick calling over there.
How does that sound?
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Bruce, your icon shows that you're away, but at least it shows that you're online. Let's see if I can add you to the invite to group call. Yeah, let's see.
Well, that's weird.
Bruce? It didn't ring. It's saying that he's connected. Now disconnected. Earth calling Bruce. Earth calling Bruce. Come in, Bruce. No. He's gone.
That's not good.
Should have him call in on the landline.
No. I mean, he needs to fix his problem, which is fine. I mean, it's not the end of the world. He says that Skype says,
Sounds like a Skype issue.
Yeah, he's got a Skype
Every
issue.
once in a while, when I try to call people, I don't know, maybe once or twice a week, sometimes Skype will just not respond, and I have to restart it a few times to get it to make a call.
That is the Microsoft Random Annoyance Generator.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. It's every product has it built in. They just when they bought Skype, it took them a little while to get it into Skype. So now that it's in there, they haven't gotten to the blue screen yet, but they're fixed. They're going to get it in there.
Can't wait.
They cannot go without annoying people.
So
I had.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say I had a successful cutover to UMA, and it was faster than I expected. They predicted it would take 4 to 6.
Spence, hold on. Okay, is this here? Yeah, it is here. Too many screens. Well, we're getting you here, Bruce. We can't hear you though.
Yeah, I had to call in on my phone. So.
All right. So, I mean, you're still showing online, but away on Computers 2K now.
That's because Skype on my desktop. Skype remembers the last instance on my desktop. So, and when I run Skype at the same time, I've got it running on my desktop. It shows the same status. So. But I've never had this problem with Skype before, and I've rebooted 3 times.
Steve is also having problems with Skype.
Yes, Steve said he couldn't hear, and he just hung up, and he's going to restart.
Yeah.
Were there any problems with Skype last week?
No.
No?
You guys sound
I
fine
know
on
that
my end.
I'd been reading about issues around...
Wait a second. What'd you say, Nick?
I said Steve was called into the same line I'm called into, and you sound fine.
Yeah, he sounded fine, but he said that he couldn't hear us. Go ahead,
And see,
Spence.
and now I'm trying to start Skype on my desktop again, and it says we can't open Skype. You're already signed in on this computer. Please sign out and try again. I just signed out and shut the program down completely.
Sometimes you have to wait. It all depends how fast the computer is. You have to wait a few, maybe 10, 15 seconds before it allows you to do it again.
There's a guy in the Microsoft data center with one of those big copper throw switches that he has to throw the switch to cancel your...
Steve,
login.
is it better now? Steve? I guess he still can't hear us.
No, I can't hear you at all. I don't know. Well, I can, but you're like barely there at all. You're coming through fine on the net. Let me just turn that down a little bit. You're coming through fine off the stream from Computers 2K now, but as soon as it connects on Skype, I don't even hear it ringing. I can hear it going blip 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 through the internet, through the site.
Yeah,
but it's just like it shuts down the earpiece thing. Let me do a complete reboot, and I'll come back again.
Nick, you hear us okay, right?
Yeah, I can.
You sound fine.
I can hear you through the web stream, but Skype, there's just nothing coming back. Apart, it's right there in the background.
Steve, sure that you're using the right Skype audio source, because sometimes
in the next room going, "Hello, can you hear me?" Right, I'll do a system reboot and see if that sorts it out. I'll be make sure Skype is off. Yes.
Hey, Steve.
I can hear my own voice. That's horrible. Bye,
Steve. Can you not hear anything on Skype? I guess not.
I was asking
You are
about
there,
last week.
but
Wait,
you're right
wait,
in the
Spence.
background. I mean, literally, the volume level is not even 0.1.
Steve, can you hear me? Steve.
No, you're not coming through on Skype either. In fact, I
it's-
didn't hear that through Skype, Nick. I heard that through the web.
Make sure you're using the right audio source, and if not, just restart.
I have a suggestion, just for diagnostic purposes. Drop and try to call. One of you try to call the other,
Double check that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll try that. Let me add.
and just to see. I mean, Steve call Bruce,
Well,
or
the
Bruce call
strange thing
Steve,
is,
just to see.
I'm looking at the audio settings now, and
see if it's a problem with our conference call,
it
or
is
it's,
coming. I can actually see the green line going across on speakers when you were speaking, but it's not coming through to me.
So you see the green going across on the bar in the audio settings, but you're not hearing it through the speaker. On the bar in the audio settings, but you're not hearing it through the speaker.
Yeah, it's not coming through on the earphone, which is ludicrous.
What happens if you're using an earphone? Why don't you disconnect the earphone and see if you hear through your speakers? You're using an earphone. Why don't you disconnect the earphone and see if you hear through your speakers? But
Because
that
it's coming
wouldn't.
through
No.
the USB mixer.
No. That would not be it, because if you hear it okay
You
through
can change the device.
through the web, then it should be okay. I don't know.
yeah, like I said, try Bruce and Steve. Try to one of you call the other and see if it isn't. That way, you'll determine if it's your issue or it's actually our conference that's hosed up. If you can hear each other fine that way, then we know we've got a resource problem on our conference. That something's going on. Well, the reason I was mentioning about whether there was any trouble last week was that with Patch Tuesday, there were a lot of changes, a lot of security updates. You guys talk about the USB exploit?
No, I didn't hear about it.
Well, turns out that there was for years a way of just everybody watches these shows where it shows the spy walk in and plugs in a USB stick to a computer and can magically have access to everything and download stuff and just do whatever they want. Well, guess what? It's true. There has been an exploit out there for years with USB where you could go in with you have to physically be at the machine. It's not a remote access thing, but you could using a USB drive and certain software go in and just literally take over and get administrative rights to the computer and load spyware, load whatever you want, and walk away, make it into a bot, make it into a turn on remote access that is invisible. So it is true. It is not just a fantasy thing that was on TV shows. It was possible. So Microsoft has done a few things to patch this. For most people, it's not an issue. I mean, unless you're in a spot where you've got your computer or there are other people in a public place and you don't keep an eye on your computer, obviously you would do that. But I would think that places like libraries or places where there are public machines, it could really be in danger. Not to mention espionage, business espionage going on, things that could be happening. So very interesting. It's apparently been out there for several years. But the other thing is that they pushed out, in some cases, made Internet 10 available, Internet Explorer 10. And for some reason, some clients on Microsoft Update were given that as a mandatory update. And I was one of them. It showed up. I was surprised because my machine is locked down. It's a corporately managed Windows 7 professional. And it came up. I don't remember getting. It used to be that all the updates were handled by the IT department. You would never see the Windows Update screen. but something changed. And I turn on my machine one morning and I have 54 updates. This is after the patch Tuesday. I'm like, that's strange because I know they didn't release that many patches. So I'm looking through it, and I went ahead and just selected all the ones that were recommended and didn't do any of the ones that were, or all the mandatory ones, I should say, all the security issues. Well, it installed Internet Explorer 10, which went ahead and threw my machine over the cliff as far as some of the things that I do that require Java and other things, conferencing and VPN clients and all this stuff. So it just blew the machine up. So I get this notice from IT. Here's how you fix it. You go into Program Manager and you click on Updates, and you just go to the screen and you say you click, you find recent updates, and you look for Windows Internet Explorer 10, and you just uncheck the box and restart the machine. Well, that's wonderful because all it does is disable IE10, but IE9 is not there. So if you need IE9 to run an application, in which case I do for web conferencing, some other things, only work on IE because of Java issues, then you're dead in the water. So I wound up, finally, I went online and found a fix for it because people talked about how a lot of people had gotten this update. And the way to get, you had to go in and uninstall the update, which restored you back to IE9. And after futzing around with the machine for about 2 hours, finally got everything to work normally again.
But it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, but this update was not a good one.
No.
They fixed some stuff, but
Bruce, you still here? So
yeah, I'm still here. Skype is really acting funny. I've done a complete hard reboot of my computer for the 4th time. I'm not running XSplit. I'm changing just to my Logitech QuickCam Pro. I changed my video settings. I click save and nothing happens. It says Skype options not responding. Now, something's really... Okay, now that screen has gone away. But I can't change my status. If I click the button to change my status and try to make it online instead of away, it just doesn't do anything. If I go to look at your account, it shows you as offline.
Okay, let me try and add you again. Let's see what happens. Or is it still in the process of booting?
No, you can try it.
Let's try it again. Where is it? Invite to group.
Bruce, what version of Skype are you running?
Okay, you see.
Can you check?
Wait. Oh.
Now I'm getting a call from you.
Well, that's weird because okay, I have. What did it say?
But you won't have any.
Wait, it says some people on the call.
Yeah, that's me. I'm on my phone.
Skype 5.0. No, no. This is on. Why did you put the call on hold here? That's interesting. I'm calling you. I'm adding you on Computers 2K now. Not on.
I'm not. If you'll listen to me, I'll explain. Okay. I never got the invite. My phone never rang on my desktop version of Skype. I got the invite on my phone. That's what I answered. That's why you don't have any video, because I'm on a phone and a phone can't do Skype Premium multiple videos.
Okay, so let's hang up on this.
Bruce, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Try installing the desktop version. Are you using the Metro version of it?
What's your idea?
Nick?
Yes.
He's asking you what's the idea.
Oh, Bruce asked me that?
You're not hearing him?
No, I heard him.
Oh.
No, I didn't hear him. I just told him that, and then I didn't hear him.
Yeah.
Is he here now?
I'm on the phone still. I'm going to uninstall Skype and reinstall it on my desktop. This is crazy.
Nick was saying something about installing the desktop version if you're using.
Yeah, are you using Metro or desktop version?
No, I never use Metro. I wouldn't touch that with a 6-foot, 10-foot pole.
Okay. Go ahead and update. Yeah, there's a latest version that was released not that long ago. So.
Well, my version was up to date as of 5 days ago. So I'm uninstalling it now. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because all the TV shows that show the Microsoft tablet working with Skype is always perfect. I am seeing, if you watch certain shows, it is everywhere. They have Microsoft phones, Microsoft tablets, Microsoft Surface, the big Surface, the one with the
table.
The big table and all that stuff. It's just everywhere, just showing people using that stuff. And it's like, ugh.
Okay, Steve, how is it now?
Strangely, I can hear everybody now.
Oh.
Wonderful.
What did you have to do?
Just did a system reboot. Rebooted everything, came back, and it's there again now.
When is the last time you rebooted the machine? Cold boot.
Oh, this morning.
Wow.
I don't know. Perhaps it came out in sympathy of Bruce's problems trying to connect to.
Yeah, Bruce still cannot connect.
I feel so comforted, Steve.
See, even across the massive divide that we have between us, which is that big bond, Skype still doesn't want to play games when it's not working for everybody.
Nick, you were talking on your show Friday night about the Apple password reset problem.
Yeah.
And it brought something else to mind. It's not, I don't think it's just Apple's problem. I mean, the Apple problem is definitely a security hole in their system.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of systems out there that allow you they will ask you a security question in order to reset your password. And the security questions are always canned questions. What's the name of your pet? Yeah. What high school you went to? What is your mother's maiden name? Stuff like that. And things that are really easy for people these day and age to research on the internet and find about you. Because we like to brag, we always put pictures of the pet on Facebook and this and that. And you get you get the gist of the thing. Is people, if you use their system to use the security question to get somewhere, then somebody else can do it too. I always tell my customers, like on the only place that I have to use it is through my domain registration for my customers, which actually goes to register.com, and they require it. But I always go and I tell them to put junk in there. Choose whatever questions and just type away junk. Because if they ever need to do anything, all they have to do is call me and I can get into the account and do whatever they need or change their password if they don't remember it. I would hate for somebody to put in there, what city you were born in, and somebody else comes along and say, I want that domain name, and they get in and they figure out what city or whatever the answer or the question is, and they get your domain away from you. Same thing can happen in the bank account. So I don't think it's an Apple-only problem, although with Apple it was a different story.
Yeah, with Apple it was a date of birth, which isn't hard to come by at all. I mean, that's all public domain.
Right. But if you're using, I mean, I would love for them to have something that you can make up your own question.
Yeah, there's I'm certain forums that I'm on, gaming forums and whatnot, have the ability to make up your own question. I prefer to do that because how hard is it to find the name of my pet?
Right. That's the problem. So I would recommend. I mean, when I was telling Register.com about it, they say, well, people would have to know which question you chose in order to come up with it. It doesn't matter. They can they can do such a quick search on what's what when they use those programs that hackers are using to break password, that it's just, it's not secured. Don't make people, and you know, and here's all these security things, and a lot of these places that have important information do not allow you to use special characters in the password. You know, they tell you to choose a strong password, but you can't use any special character like the pound or the asterisk or the exclamation. No, you can't. Only alphanumeric. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's not secure at all.
Yeah. Yeah, Gene, that's it. If you put that you were born in Monte Carlo, fine. Unless a lot of people are starting using Monte Carlo, and then that's the first thing they go to. So I say just put junk in there. Or it's fine, you can probably use true answers but misspell. So
I was born in junk.
Now, yeah, when I'm saying put junk, I don't mean type in JUNK. I mean just type away.
Well, you know what some people are like? They do take what they hear literally.
Yeah, that's true. I need to be careful. So I see that now Bruce dropped out of Skype altogether, but he's still showing away. Not offline, but away on Computers 2K now. Maybe he's making some progress there. But yeah, I mean, here is something. If you were born in Monte Carlo and you want to use that, then misspell it. Put Monte Carlo or Monte Carlo or something that you know. Yeah, this is how I spell it, or this is. But the best thing is not to use it and remember your password. And you can always call somebody or get in touch with them. And, well, I don't know about getting in touch with them, because then they say, well, what's the question that you put in there? What's the answer? And that's a problem, too.
Yeah.
I don't have a solution.
I don't really think there is a good solution.
Say it again?
I said I don't really think there always is a good solution.
Yeah.
Just get rid of your computer, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Just don't sign up for anything.
That solves it all right there.
But it's interesting that Apple released a large batch of security fixes.
Well, they should. I mean,
go ahead.
That was a big one.
Yeah, for sure. Especially what happened after, what's his name? That guy that happened like 6 months back or so, where all of his Apple account was hacked and they wiped all of his computers and everything. I mean, it's the same thing, and they just let that pass through like it was no big deal.
There have been a lot of updates lately for Java and Flash. Flash has had one every week, which is annoying, really annoying. But at least they're hopefully staying on top of.
Hey, Steve.
Exploits.
Hello.
Your the Guardian. I guess.
Oh yes. The Guardian
warns that bloggers in the UK could face costly fines for libel, with exemplary damages imposed if they do not sign up with the new press regulator under legislation. Recommended by the Leveson Inquiry into Press Behavior and Ethics. Kirsty Hughes, the chief executive of Index on Censorship, said, "This is a sad day for British democracy. This will undoubtedly have a chilling effect on everyday people's web use. Exemplary damages imposed by a court to penalize publishers who remain outside regulation could run into hundreds of thousands of pounds. They have to pay for the free medical care, health care somehow.
That's right, yeah.
Easily enough to close down smaller publishers such as Private Eye and local newspapers. Harry Cole, who contributes to the Guido Folks blog, says he does not want to join a regulator. He hopes his blog will remain as irreverent and rude as ever and continue to hold public officials to account. Servers are located in the U.S. Members of Parliament voted on Clause 21A late last night. It passed 530 to 13. So your legislator is really, into this. 530 to 13.
It's whatever the party line is, basically. It's, if you're part of the Conservatives or the Lib Dems or Labour, you generally don't have a viewpoint. It's just like, well, the party's voting like this, so everyone in the party must vote the same.
What can they do?
I think they call it democracy, don't they? Something like that, yeah.
But what can they do if the servers are in the U.S.?
Well, as long as they make sure they abide by the internationally renowned and adhered to DMCA. You're right.
Oh.
Well, DMCA is that, isn't it? It's for America. It doesn't reflect on anything in the rest of the world. Although, goodness, you have to abide by it. It wouldn't matter if you're in Indonesia or wherever the hell you are. Otherwise, you'll get trade sanctions put against you, and you won't be able to export whatever the hell it is you export from your country.
But I would think that in a case of a blogger that tries to show how the system is working against you and what government is trying to do and all that, being put sanctions like trade sanctions on you will actually make you more popular. Because, let's face it, you cannot just shut down anybody unless you have connection with whoever hosts it. And if you see something is happening, you can always move it to another country.
Well, the problem is that a lot of service providers or people that are hosting the sites, as soon as they get a DMCA or even some kind of inkling that there's trouble afoot or somebody isn't happy with some content that they happen to be hosting on one of the sites that they're hosting, they just shut it down. Strike first and think later.
There is Mike.
Unfortunately, it's all about it's too easy to censor somebody now in under false pretenses using the DMCA or intellectual property, whatever it might be, that they're using it as a weapon to censor comments that they don't like, somebody's opinion, or just generally shut somebody up that could be either a competitor or saying something that perhaps goes against their view. There's so many abuses these days, either to do with the DMCA or just threatening letters. The hosts just think, I can't be bothered to deal with this or go through it all. They just sooner shut down and take any flack from it afterwards. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Bruce is having Skype problems.
Is that on Windows 8?
Oh, come on.
I think so, yeah.
No, I'm not. There's nothing to that. I was yesterday with Rick. He uses Windows 8 with Skype, and we didn't have that kind of problem. But it's hard to find some of the right settings in there unless you're pretty good at it, which I'm not. So I was just curious if it had anything to do with the Skype 8 version. I know that there is a new version, I believe. Well, I don't know the number. I believe it's 6.3 is out. and it broke some stuff. Andrew knows what it is, but it broke some stuff. So I don't know whether somebody's updated to 6.3 or what's happened.
I have. I'm using 6.3.
And it seems to be okay?
Yeah, I haven't had any issues with it.
On which platform?
On Windows 8?
No, Windows 7.
Okay.
I think the Windows 8 app for Skype, as you were saying, is that some of the settings that you need to get to are in a different place. The app is completely different to what the program is that you can install. That's why I got rid of the icon or the Metro tile for Skype. Just removed it and installed Skype on the desktop, which is then what you're used to. It's not running as an app; it's running as a bog standard program, like everyone is used to things running.
Well, when I finally found out how to get into settings on Windows 8, which the only way I could get into it was to actually go full screen with the Skype app. Mm-hmm. Then when you go to options in the, what do they call it, the charms, it brings up Skype options. Other than that, it would bring up Windows options.
It isn't particularly intuitive. But like with anything, change is as good as a rest, and people just need to get used to it. You either like it or you don't.
It's hard to like it until you get used to it. That's why I haven't done anything with Rick's computer to install the start button and all that. I just kind of took it as a challenge to let's see how we can make it work.
The learning curve is annoying, especially if you want to get on and be productive and do stuff. And don't have time to sit and learn and fiddle around trying to find things. If you have, all well and good, but if you haven't, it's annoying.
Now, Andrew is saying that the new version it broke some stuff, but it should be more stable. They're handling bandwidth differently. It's no longer 4.3 for Skype calls anymore. It's all 16:9, starting with 640x360. And Nick, how does that, if Andrew were on the call, we'd ask him, but how does that impact things? What are you seeing differently, Nick?
The video definitely looks a lot clearer. I was doing some tests with Sean Tuesday or Thursday, and the video looks a lot better. But the issue that we have now is, now that we're both sending HD video back and forth at the same time, there tends to be a lot more bandwidth issues. We noticed that we were roboting a lot more with both sending HD video back and forth.
Well, is it HD or widescreen?
After a while, it goes HD. It starts with 640x360, but it clicks in I would say under 30 seconds, and that goes to HD.
Goes to 720.
Yeah, and you can force it to go 1080 as well.
Are there any issues with interoperability with people on older versions who are sending you 4x3?
No, actually, I don't know that. I don't.
But you're saying that it starts at 640x360.
Yes.
Does it stay if you want it to? I mean, I would have no problem with 640x360 people being sent video like that, and then I capture it in a 4x3 and send it out to Bamboozer. It's not going to affect what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But if it starts going higher and higher on its own, that could be a problem.
In the Skype settings and in the back in one of the files, you can edit the resolution that you want it to send. So yes, you could make it send 640x360.
I wonder how that will.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I heard you guys talking about the Skype stuff, so I decided to call in. What it does, if you both have the latest version of Skype, which is 6.3, you won't be able to send 4x3 video. So before, let's say it would automatically start at 640x480, now it starts at 640x360.
But hold on a second. You're talking about not being able to send that Skype to Skype. What I capture here on the screen, I can capture it as a 4x3 and send it to Bamboozer.
Yeah, sure, because you're screen capturing it yourself.
Exactly. You're talking about Skype to Skype.
Skype to Skype.
Yeah, okay, go on.
So it's 640x360 rather than 640x480. And they've changed some of the way that they handle the load balance with the bandwidth. So before, let's say you like at certain points, it would click you into HD, so you would do 720p, and then now it quickly recognizes that you have enough bandwidth, and it does 1080p with some cameras. And rather than constantly dropping you every time your bandwidth gets a little funny, it pulls back on the quality of the video, much like how Google does theirs. So you know when you click over to someone and it's a little blurry?
Right.
It'll do that occasionally with the video, but keep you in the resolution, and is prioritizing audio over video.
Which it should do.
Which it should do. So what happens? You don't get robotic if your bandwidth is pulling.
Yeah,
it'll just degrade your video a little bit and won't affect your audio.
Yeah, I did have some issues with it roboting a little bit with
Sean, I
but...
thought too. The other big problem that I've seen, the only thing that I've seen, it's gotten much smarter with the bandwidth. So if you're having some serious bandwidth problems, it'll drop your res down to like 320 by 180. Where before you would just have crappy, you would have like a really bad connection. Now it just drops you all the way down.
Yeah.
But what about group video calls? I wonder how all that impacts group video calls.
I'm not too sure. I don't know.
Video calls are still 4.3.
Yeah, group video is still 4.3.
Well, then that actually solves Amnon's problem.
Well, I mean, it's not a problem, but it's just knowing what to expect. Oh, wait a second. Bruce, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
But without video.
I'm using the crappy Windows 8 version because I'll tell you what, I'm getting my lemon squeeze. I mean, I don't even know how to start my camera on this thing.
Hey, Bruce, you're not using Metro, right?
Well, I have to because I uninstalled the desktop version, reinstalled it, and still not working.
What version did you install? Did you try 6.3?
I don't even know what version it is.
It's probably the latest version if it's from Skype's site.
I mean, I went to skype.com/download and downloaded the most recent one.
That will be the latest 6.3, isn't it?
That's the most recent one.
Oh, and hello, Andrew, by the way.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Yay! Fine, thanks.
So Andrew, you had to manually download 6.3 because when I check for updates, it says I have the latest version.
No, I had to manually download it.
Oh, man.
Now, here's the other issue for people because I spent all day on Thursday playing with the latest version so I could kind of know the ins and outs. VidBlaster does not. So with VidBlaster, they have killed VVD to work with anybody that is not using 4.2. Anybody that is using 4.2 could use the old VVD. The new VVD works pretty well with all the new versions. The only thing is you're still locked in at standard def. You cannot do high def video with VidBlaster and Skype anymore. That's out the window. Wirecast also has the same exact problem where before you used to be able to do high def VVD with it with Skype. Now you can't. You're stuck at 640 by 360.
I lost you.
Okay. Isn't it nice to have a standard that everyone adheres to and that works, seamlessly with everything you want to connect together?
Okay, so Amnon, let's say you want to send me return video from VidBlaster, right?
Right.
And you're using the old VVD.
Right.
Not the new one that he added.
Right.
I can no longer see that video.
So it will not even adjust to whatever. It just, you completely lose it.
Completely black. Like Spencer last night could not send me his VVD because I was on the latest version of Skype. Before, he would send me VVD and I was on, whatever latest version of Skype existed.
Yeah.
Now you can't do that anymore. It just won't send the video. I've seen it do that with certain people. If you're running an older version, you are no longer allowed to send video to people.
I wonder if this is by design or it's because the 6.3 caught him by surprise and it's a
infraction.
Bug. No, and
infraction.
It's a bug.
No, I think it's that Skype changed the way that they're doing stuff and they're changing their codecs for the video also.
Yeah.
You have to remember, beyond, I believe 6.1 and beyond or 6.2 and beyond, They've gone to VP8 for their video codec.
Maybe it's got to do, they're rolling out scalable video coding.
Yeah, they totally changed the way that they handle video. So a lot of these, I don't know if XSplit works. Maybe Bruce could check that out to see how well that's working with HD. But as far as I know, it's all 640 by 360 if it's not an approved camera. And the Skype hack no longer works either.
Interesting.
Scalable video coding is actually a really good technology that dynamically adjusts, especially if you have, the way Skype is set up and they use what they call soft MCUs or distributed MCUs, media control units. These are the bridges that actually encode and let people talk to each other. And you can do it in hardware, you can do it in software. In some cases, it's a hybrid where they do it in both. But if you have a central point where it's all done in one place, then you have all kinds of issues because you have to go, like say it's in London is where your MCU is, and everybody has to talk to London to talk to each other. It's not efficient because you've got all those streams heading into London. So if you had MCUs distributed around the world, you would talk to your local one. It would aggregate all of the connections to the people on the other side of the world and the other MCU in a single stream, and then distribute it from there. So you wouldn't have all these streams going everywhere, and you'd be able to do dynamic scalable video coding. Is cool because what it does is you have 10 people on a video conference, and one more joins. Well, maybe you hit the limit of decent. You're all running HD, but suddenly now there's not enough bandwidth for that to happen. So now it will automatically scale everybody down, or by prioritize. Maybe a room system would have high definition, but the individuals on their desktops wouldn't. It would scale them down, and it's very fluid. It's kind of cool because it adjusts on the fly, but it takes a while to design it and to perfect it and engineer it and have the correct pipes in place and make sure that everybody because there's different priorities. People get different priorities. Do you have an H.264 hardware encoder on your camera or on your client? These are all things that have to be taken into consideration. But it's
and see, that's the thing. If you're running it like the Logitech C920 that everybody uses when they Skype into me has built-in H.264 encoding in the hardware, so it takes a lot of the load off of the CPU. But the thing that I was very impressed with is that when your bandwidth starts getting really bad, it'll pull back on your video to the point that it's super blurry if you're trying to view it, but your audio still sounds exactly what it was when you were sending me high-def video. And that's really important for people like me or Amnon when they're using Skype to Skype in a guest, and the guest does not have great bandwidth, the audio stays intact and doesn't really get affected.
Right.
I would rather have blurry video coming in from someone than to have bad audio.
Right.
I know Mike doesn't agree with that because audio is not important.
What would be nice is if they could, instead of blurry video, just change the refresh rate. Just to say it only refresh, instead of 15 frames per second, cut it down to 4 or 5 temporarily. I realize that some people prefer to see the motion but have it blurry, where other people would be, the jerkiness would make them crazy. But
I also think a lot of this is user error. We have to realize that, HD, to be able to stream high-def video, it takes a lot of bandwidth, and it takes a lot of CPU resources, even if you have an H.264 camera. Suncast on Friday was Skyping in, and I noticed there was a lot of weird stuff happening with his video where it was the latency between us was shooting between 50 milliseconds all the way to 500 milliseconds every 30 seconds on the dot. And I finally asked him, I said, what are you doing? He's like, I'm running it on older hardware. I'm Skyping into you with my 5-year-old computer. And he ended up just shutting down the web page where he was monitoring the video, and that solved the problem. It totally went away, and he was sending me 1080p video with Skype at 30 frames a second. Mind-blowing. I mean, that's the most impressive part, but I think a lot of it is, we have to realize these computers, The computer and the software are still not at the level of network quality, so we can't tax the CPU and whatever we're doing. If you're doing HD video, you should be dedicating that computer just to be doing that. You're going to run into a lot of problems if you start opening up web browsers and you start looking at other videos and you start answering emails and I think the software is still in its infancy, and we just can't expect too much from it.
Absolutely. And this is again one of the reasons why, although it's great what Tom is talking about, VidBlaster, one guy, one PC, it gets to the point where, no, that's not going to work out, one guy, one PC. Not if you're trying to do what you're talking about.
Listen, one guy, one PC is perfectly fine if you're doing standard definition.
Yeah.
You can do it with that.
Oh, I agree. But
But, I mean, the problem is if you're trying to do high-def content, which, slowly everybody's moving over to that, if you're going to try to do high-def content and stream it and record it and have multiple shots, it's going to be nearly impossible for you, and you're going to start encountering a lot of problems. Regardless of what people say about Mike from VidBlaster, the software runs really well when you're not putting it under pressure.
Right, absolutely.
I don't have half the problems I did before, and now that I've split off the encoding down to Wirecast and I'm splitting off the recording to another machine. The problems go away when you do that.
It's funny, I was just researching to say what software is actually able to take advantage of the built-in H.264 encoding on the C920. And somebody posted something on the Logitech forum saying, I'm a software developer. How can I extract H.264 from a C920 with Direct Show and Windows? And he lists all the different, he said, here are the media subtypes that are supported. So the Logitech guy comes back and says, unfortunately, this information is proprietary. We can't share it. So we have this great camera that can do this stuff, but we can't tell you how to use it.
No.
So here's a little tidbit, guys, and I think a lot of your viewers will like it, and I know that Mike would be interested and Spence would be interested. Nobody else on the phone. There's a new camera that Logitech is putting out, the C930E. E is for Enterprise, and they claim that this camera will be able to do 4x digital zoom with no quality loss on high-def content.
Believe it
well,
when
if the sensor is good enough, sure.
But this is a huge deal because digital zoom is awful. You're always losing quality, even if you do 1x or 2x digital zoom. So I'm sorry, Scott.
All you're doing is just looking at a smaller piece of the same image sensor, which has a lot less pixels.
It's just like when you blow up an image in Photoshop or PaintShop, and instead of resampling it, and even when you're resampling it, you still get pixelization.
Oh, we're going to get tagged by the security agencies now. Amnon said blow up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, it's but if you take, Andrew, it's like when you take a small image, a tiny, like a 1x1, and you try to make a 6x6 out of it, it's going to be blurry. There's nothing you can do. But if you take a 20x20 and try to make a 10x10 out of it, it's going to look great.
Yeah, but they claim that they're able to do up to 4x, 4 times digital zoom with no quality loss.
If they claim that, I'm with Logitech, I would say that they're probably correct. The only way to find out is if they send us a free one so we can try it.
I'm looking at the data sheet.
I should be getting one in a couple of weeks.
It's $129 list.
Yeah, list is $129. It's not cheap, but I think the price is going to be down when they launch it finally.
And it has, I was just listening to a podcast with Steve Gibson about exploits with video cameras. People don't realize how easy it is to take over a video camera and turn it on remotely. More and more cameras are coming with privacy shutters. And this one has a privacy shutter, which is nice.
Yeah, it's very, very, really good. The only issue with this camera is that it's a wide-angle lens. So
that'll be good for Rick Allen.
Wide shot. It's not going to be fisheye, but it's going to be very wide.
90-degree diagonal field of view.
I don't think that the camera being that wide is going to be good. Because so here's the thing. So now that this camera picks up so much more, now you're going to need to do more zooming. And even though they say it supports 4x,
that's the thing. That's why they're saying, well, you could zoom in and you're not going to lose quality.
Hey, Spence, why are you hiding behind the banner? Behind the lower third.
I didn't realize I was leaning down. I'm reading the article here, and I was just looking at the features.
Andrew, go ahead.
But it's interesting that, these webcams are coming along, it's slowly, but they're coming along to the levels of, do you really need a expensive camera sitting in your studio? I forgot who was doing a show the other day, and I was looking at the camera. Oh, Spencer was doing the Ball Truth, and he was using a C910 with in his living room, and he was sending me the video. The video looked as good as a $1,000 camera. It was phenomenal with proper lighting. You're able to do so much with these cameras now. You don't need to invest that money, and I think we're slowly getting to the level of, I don't think it's there fully, but I think we're getting there. We're almost there.
Huh?
But we're all at the mercy of the bandwidth and congestion on the bandwidth.
That's for so many different other things as well, isn't it? It's bandwidth related. It's just a chokehold on it.
I mean, the lucky thing is that I over here we have Fios, and I have 75 megabits upload.
Quit bragging,
Andrew. Shush.
I have 2 lines. I mean, I guess I could relate with the 99%ers. I have 50 by 50. Is that what you guys are doing?
How about 30 by 5?
Yeah, it's such it's unbelievable how it's so sporadic and it's so spread out. I mean, I have lines here, and it's so necessary for me to have all this bandwidth. I don't understand why they can't deliver at least 10 megabits upload to everybody that has cable or whatever.
Even John Coles has 12 megabit up in the UK where they have free healthcare.
Yeah, that's impressive. 12 over there.
I didn't even know we had that over here.
12 meg up.
Wow. Well, I'm 8 and just under 1 if I'm lucky, which is it's all right for what I do, I suppose.
Oh.
Mike, why did you think that there was a problem with the video?
Because as I watch myself on the stream, it's choppy.
I see that too occasionally.
Really?
Yep.
But it might just be between you and Bambuser.
Yeah. Well, it could be. And in fact, I'm going to refresh it.
Well, on the laptop, I'm looking on it through Bambuser, and I'm not using Time Warner for the thing. I'm using the T1 and it looks fine.
Jeff and everyone says that it's fine there, so we'll watch it here and see how it goes. See, I'm at my wave now. I did a refresh. Maybe
that's fine. No, I mean, that's why I was saying.
Whole lot. No, I just did a refresh, and it's much better.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to mute my video for a second because I want to show a few things. Don't change anything, Adam. I'll be right back.
Gene wants to know sometime. Go ahead, Andrew.
This week, I'm going to be testing with 1080 video.
You're going to do a show with 1080?
I'm gonna test it this week. I've never tried 1080 with VidBlaster. I'm going to try 1080. I'm going to see what it looks like.
Okay. Who just joined us?
Oh, this is Rick.
Hey, Rick.
How you doing?
Okay, man. How are you?
I was just checking your show out, and you were talking about the video streaming those webcams.
Yeah.
I just I've been working with a company called Vivitech, but we're using regular cameras using RTSP.
And?
Well, and it seems to be simple. Where I'm stuck at is getting the RTSP to VLC and VLC to the web.
Yeah, that's a problem. For what you're just streaming it directly to Flash Media Encoder?
Well, no, you can't, because you either have to have a card. Flash Media Encoder only will work with a card on the computer, and we're talking to a camera that's somewhere else.
Are you doing it IP based?
Correct. See, so RTSP you can use RTP or RTSP you can use to communicate with most cameras, and there's also a window where you have to log in on the camera as well, so you're also protected on the other side of it. But these are regular IP
so it's
cameras.
an IP. What do you use? It's an IP-based camera.
Correct.
And you're streaming it to. It has a page set up, and then you're putting that into VLC, and VLC's not seeing it.
Well, VLC is seeing it. My problem is, where do I go from VLC to get it to a website so that it's broadcasting live? I think I still need a video server to make that happen.
Well, you could do it. You could have your own dedicated server. There are companies that do that for you, or you could start using a service like. Do you want to use like a Ustream or a Vaughn TV, something like that?
I went on Ustream and also went on Livestream, both, and I guess I'm not finding out where I can take that address and make it work
I know
the other way around.
Solution. Are you on Windows?
Yeah, it would be Windows 8.
Get a Mac.
With XSplit, you can import RTMP sources, and then from XSplit, you could broadcast to any CDN that you'd like.
It's called Exploit?
XSplit.
Okay.
Well, you could also do it. I believe I don't know if you could do IP based in Wirecast, but you could also do it in BitBlaster too.
Well, here's a good thing about using the IP based cameras, because Axis Video and Vivitech and a lot of these already have built-in audio, and you can also remote that audio from a camera to wherever you need it at, and you get 1080p or 720p. But again, you're still limited to the bandwidth that you have coming in.
Yeah, I mean, you could throttle whatever you want to send to the CDNs, but Nick is right. Using something like XSplit, you could just import the address of that camera, and it should automatically see it.
Right, and then just encode it into your website.
Yep.
Just send it to whatever you're like. If you're sending it to Ustream, send it to Ustream, and then take that embed and put it on your website.
Right. And that's what I was looking at on Ustream and Livestream to do, but it seems to me that everybody has the same problem with doing this and making it live.
Yeah, I fiddled around with RTMP streams, and it's not as simple as people think. I've attempted to do it from one location to do a show and just send an RTMP stream, HD stream, to VidBlaster, but it hasn't worked for me the way I wanted to. But I think with an IP-based camera dedicated for this, it might work.
Before it's said and done, I'll have it figured out. I've been working with cameras now. Well, I was in the IP industry for over 25 years, and then I started working with this company. I do installation of cameras, and IP cameras are what I'm playing with now. But I've installed Aerocont, which is 20 megapixel cameras, 5 each, and they all do RTSP, RTP, RTMP, both. It depends on the model of the camera. But
yeah, those are pricey cameras, right?
Yeah, the Aerocont is pricey. The difference between the Aerocont and most of them is that some of them use a CCD and some of them use CMOS, and they use CMOS.
Yeah.
So,
they use CMOS, okay.
Yeah, and which is the picture's unbelievable.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. You can't beat it. You can go to their website and you can look at They got a 10 megapixel camera out now, and it's just you can't beat it. The problem they're going to have is the network out there can't support the data that's going across it.
It's amazing.
But I thought I'd call on the show because I'm working on a project right now, and that was where I'm stuck at, and I'm trying to get over that hump. But there's a lot of people out there trying to do it, so eventually somebody's going to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, try something like XSplit. You might be happy with the results.
Okay, I think I'll do that.
Yeah, and Rick, you can get that, and it's even if you pay for it, it's not that expensive.
Okay.
Yeah, and the free trial is definitely usable for XSplit.
Is it? Okay,
Yes.
Well, what I'll do is a free trial first and see if that works for me and on the projects that I'm working on. And if it does, then I will call y'all's radio show back.
Yeah, let us know how it works out because I'm really interested to see how that works.
Okay, and me and Amnon, we've been friends for a long time, so I'll keep in touch with Amnon, and he knows where I'm at.
Okay.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
But you need to come back here so everybody else. I mean, Nick is not here.
Okay, no problem.
So people that want to hear how you're doing. So just call back again next week and the week after, whenever you have news.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, Nick. Okay, Rick.
Thanks, Amnon.
Say hi. Bye.
Bye.
See, Mike, I'm useful.
Well, when you're sober.
I'm very sober.
I know. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not even 11 yet.
I'm thinking about what I'm going to start my day with today. Is it going to be a Bloody Mary or a mimosa?
Yeah, probably one of each.
Probably.
Andrew told a funny story the other night. I have to tell on him.
Which one?
Which one?
Yeah.
So he comes home, and he walks in the door, and his whole house is full of family members, all door to door. First thing he says, "Oh, no, this is an intervention." He says, "Look, guys, if this is an intervention, I'm not going to be a part of it." His wife looks at him like he's stupid and said, "No, I just invited everybody over for dinner."
I was ready to throw the ice at someone and just run out the back door, and nobody was going to see me again. I was going to end up somewhere in Idaho.
If the shoe fits, huh?
I can see Andrew walking in. So, wait a minute, this is intervention and no ingest.
I had to take a couple pills just to settle me down from all that.
I'm sure you did. I'll drink to that.
So anyway, Mike and Andrew, after reading all that information about the broadcasting and Skype and broadcasting license.
Yes.
I went ahead and did it last night.
Yeah, well.
They're really nice about it if you go through it. I mean, really, they don't want anything. They just want to know. I guess they maybe want to brag on you. I don't know. But I went ahead and...
Now they have you on a list, Amnon.
That's fine. It doesn't matter. I mean, I sent an email. They actually, once you go through it, they give you an email, Skype address to add to your contacts. That's broadcast help that you can ask questions.
Really, you can call them.
Well, I'm going to try. It wasn't online, so I'll try Monday. I'll try tomorrow. But
I'm staying away from that. I don't want to give them my info.
Oh, I mean, come on. It's fine.
Well, you never know what they're going to do with it. Amnon will be the guinea pig. We'll see.
I mean, there's nothing. The only info they want is, what is the name of your show?
Well,
no, but in the terms of service, what happens now you have to follow that terms of service.
It's fine. And I sat there and I read it again and again, and we are following their term of service. The only thing that we weren't doing is displaying the logo on the screen. Now, they don't actually specify. Do you see where I put it now?
I do.
Yeah.
They don't say that it has to be. I mean, I can always tell them I can't put it at the bottom of the thing. Is this good enough? And I'll bet you they're going to come back and say, yeah, that's fine.
I think that they're talking in reference to the watermark on the Skype video itself.
Well, I don't do anything here, and that's fine too. I mean, it's not going to hurt anything. But no, they're not. They're actually saying that they want you to put it on the video that you're using. And that's what I'm saying. This is still brand new, and I went through it and I looked and I said, okay, they're not asking for much. I'll give them that. You know, they're giving us something. And actually, the question, there was a question there that asked, if I have premium or something, can I use it? And they say yes. And the only thing that we want is that you put that thing on it.
Well, see, some of the terms and conditions that have people upset go back to the pre-Microsoft days. The big question right now is whether Microsoft is going to relax those terms, make them more onerous, or just maintain them. And it sounds to me like they may be relaxing them a tiny bit, which makes sense in that they would like people to become more dependent upon it. So if they ever decide to charge for it, and if it's a reasonable price, we'll pay for it.
Yeah. I mean, we're paying now.
Yeah, but what we're paying for is almost a giveaway. I
understand.
We're almost paying, not even paying for bandwidth.
I understand. Go ahead.
Are you saying that that one of the requirements is that they show like the Skype watermark?
Yes. Well, the
you
Skype
can switch
logo.
that on under advanced.
Or a lower third on the video. They want to present it somewhere, maybe on the lower third, maybe as a watermark up top.
Actually, they one of them is anywhere on the screen, and the other one is on the lower end. So for the other shows where I have the video and then below it the list of the past shows, I cannot stick it in between. So I actually made it part of a link at the top of the page above. And I said, I don't have a way to put it here. So how about this? We'll see what they say.
I have a question. How do they know you're using Skype? How
They don't.
Hear all the
They don't.
silent.
enforce that?
They probably don't, but let me tell you something. You think you don't want to give them the information. Right now, all they have to do, and I'm sure there's somebody from Skype that reads the IAIB, because somebody is connected with them, reads it, and somebody will read it and say, oh, they start talking about this, and all they have to do is say, okay, you know what, I would like somebody to spend 2 days and go through the shows and see who's using Skype. There you go. I mean, if they want to go after people, they can. I don't believe that they do, and I don't have a problem giving back. I mean, they're giving us something that we couldn't create any other way. So I have no problem giving them back, especially when it's not taking away anything. Now, Mike was talking about that there are other solutions right now for audio and all this and that. There are other solutions. If they come back and say, no, we want you to put it exactly here and exactly that, and if they're going to be ugly, forget about it. We'll use something else. It may not be as good right now, but it'll be fine. But I really don't think that they're going to be honorary about it.
You can start using FaceTime on the Mac.
By everybody a Mac that calls
checkbox.
into your show.
Welcome back, Nick. There is a checkbox under advanced in the Skype settings that you can turn on the Skype watermark or not.
Yeah, but I don't know that it is what I do or what
It's
Mike
what you
Mike
do.
has to do.
No, it's what
I don't
you have
know.
to do.
I'm just saying that there is a checkbox there. Where it shows up on the screen or how it is, I don't
All right,
know. But
let's
there is
see.
a checkbox there.
Yeah, the issue with the Skype watermark is it's normal. Like, for example, with Amnon using group video right now, there's not going to be a watermark on every person's video. There's going to be a watermark in the upper right-hand corner of Skype.
Let's see. Where is it? It's in the
Hopefully
advanced.
it'll obliterate the bamboozer one.
And keep Skype, show Skype watermarks. Oh, yeah. Now, let's see. I hope it's not going to mess up anything. No, it's not messing up anything. Okay, I just did it.
But we don't see it.
No, it's not showing.
Well,
anything
if you
right
don't
now.
see it, then it's not doing any good.
Well,
Well,
that's
and
what you got to do
that's-
then.
yeah, that's
just
what
say
I'm
to
saying.
them, well, I've enabled Skype watermark in the program. It's not my fault it's not showing.
Well, we'll see how it goes. Amnon's going to be a test case, and that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
Somebody
fine.
needs to do it. But the comment that I made, and I don't mean that I'm not being funny, but
Oh.
since we're not in HD, we could very easily use Zoom.us.
Yes, easily.
And no one would know the difference between this and Skype. It might even be a little bit better.
Well,
You have one issue with Zoom US.
which is?
It's similar to Google Plus Hangout, where if you have a 4 box like you have right now, Amnon,
Yeah.
Spencer and Mike's video, they're going to be small because you can't have both of them. They won't both have large video; they'll both just have thumbnails.
But what if we had one computer per Zoom?
Wait a second. Are you saying that there is a big picture and there is a small picture just like in a Hangout?
Yes, Zoom US is the same setup as a Google Plus Hangout.
And how big are the small ones? Roughly.
They're probably about the same size, maybe bigger than the Google Plus ones.
Yeah,
They're
so
similar
that,
size.
They're not big enough to capture and to
No,
keep.
they're not.
What he's saying is that with a Zoom.us Hangout, Amnon, instead of you sitting there switching in VidBlaster, you would capture the main screen and switch between the thumbnails or let it auto switch between the thumbnails based on who's talking. Doing the quad would be the hard part.
yeah.
The quad it wouldn't look good because you'd have like really small.
But
thumbnails.
so what? I mean, what difference does it make? I mean, if you do what you got to do.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if it comes down to it, absolutely. I'm just wondering if the bigger the screen, the bigger those thumbnails are going to be. Or
I
they
believe so. Yeah,
should be.
Yeah, I think they scale.
Yeah, and if I
I'm not
put it
100% sure.
on a monitor, we need to try it.
Yeah, we should.
and-
We should try something.
And if it's on a big screen and where I capture the stuff right now, then it may work fine.
It might. Yeah.
I think we should try and experiment off, not during the show, but let's try my RadVision video conferencing room because we can do multi-party video conferencing.
I think we are right on the edge of a full Skype alternative with regard to video. I think we're almost there.
With who?
What makes you say that, Mike?
Well, because there are some of these, for example, and again, this is for Computers 2K now, because the GoToMeeting has HD video now. I mean, some of these commercial services are getting into web bandwidth intensive applications that will work. And again, it's since we're not in HD, we're going to get away with it a lot quicker than Andrew would, because Andrew's doing HD for person to person. It may take some creativity. For example, we may have to have one conference per person or something, some nonsense like that. But I'm just telling you, we're getting really close to being independent of Skype if it's necessary. I mean, the best solution is for Skype to continue working and to get better. And if it does and they're agreeable, then it's the first choice.
Right.
But if it becomes unusable, there are alternatives now.
And I think that's another reason why Skype won't be a stickler about the watermark, because they realize if they are, people are just going to leave.
But now you're assuming that common sense and reason are going to be applied, and I don't think there's any reason to believe that.
Well,
I mean,
we'll
Jeff is saying he hopes there's a Skype alternative that may finally be enough competition to get Microsoft on Skype to take the next leap. I don't have any confidence in that whatsoever. And this is the thing, Nick and I have talked about it, Andrew and I have talked about it offline, and that is that the internet broadcasting market is microscopically, infinitesimally, and significantly small. It is big to us because it's what we love to do, it's what we do. But in terms of the number of internet broadcasters who need these balls-to-the-wall Skype features, Skype couldn't care less. They're not interested in that. They're interested in the teenage girls staying on there showing each other their fingernails.
Well, the broadcast thing, I mean, even though they're mentioning the internet, it's there. It's more like because when you go to the something about what will you be using it for kind of thing, there is nothing about the internet podcast or anything. It's news, sports, news this, news that. It's for the networks.
Absolutely.
That are going to use it. So,
well, there's already a better replacement for Skype for point-to-point communications, and that is that if this were just an audio podcast and Spence were calling Amnon, there's a better solution than Skype. It's called Audio Compass at audiocompass.com. It allows a full duplex, wide bandwidth, CD quality audio channel.
Audio, yeah.
Audio only between two people. There's no conferencing. You'd have to have like one per computer, one per guest for audio only. And the quality of the channel, unlike Skype, is better than if you're sitting in the same room with the person. I mean, it's not better. It's the same as a piece of wire for all practical purposes, and I know that's an exaggeration. But it's $200 per computer per instance. But it's a commercial application. Mm-hmm. It's designed to be a professional application.
Is that a one-time fee?
It is. It is. And there's a 30-day trial. One of these days we're going to try it. We already did, thanks to Nick, we already did an episode of Rick's House Home Improvement Show not using Skype. We used TeamSpeak. Nick set up a server such that we were able to use the TeamSpeak server with the Opus codec in the voice mode, which was, based on our calculations, 96 kilobits per second, which is supposedly very good. I don't think they've gotten it all worked out yet, but they're really close. The second thing is that there are, I know of 2 plus 1. Mumble, according to Donovan Adkisson, Mumble is also implementing the Opus codec for wideband audio. Remember that these gamer guys, they look at 96K and they say nobody in their right mind could ever need more than 96 kilobits. They don't look at the broadcasting application. They're looking at the gaming application.
Of course. You don't want something hogging your bandwidth while you're trying to play a game.
But that should be a slider. Let me decide that.
True.
Do you think Andrew cares about the bandwidth of his audio if he's gaming with 75 megabit upload?
No, but if you're sitting on a DSL line, 96K can be the difference between you getting a kill and not getting a kill.
Then you dial it down.
Latency. Yeah, but the issue is I think. Well, let me go back to this Mumble. You mentioned Mumble. The issue with Mumble is it's mono only. There is no stereo on Mumble, which is an issue.
But for us, that's irrelevant.
No, it's irrelevant now, but it doesn't mean it'll be irrelevant in 6 months. There could be some.
But Nick, here's the thing: once they have done the coding to include the Opus codec into the client and the server, swapping codecs should be a relatively trivial matter.
What do you mean by swapping codecs?
Well, if they're only using the mono codec.
No. Mumble itself is mono, not based on the codec. Mumble does not do stereo. Do you remember when we looked at that and we were in their chat room and they said Mumble?
I understand that, but that's a function of the codec.
If you go peer-to-peer, it is. But if you're going through their server, then it's what they're doing.
Understood. But
and they're not going to change the codec. They're not going to let you.
I don't know. That's actually not what Donovan is hearing from people. His son is a coder. His son, Mumble's open source. It is getting close to and theoretically possible that we could find someone who could take the time to learn how to compile a client using the Opus codec, that we could you go through what's called a codec agnostic SIP provider and actually have something beyond what the average person gets by downloading the codec. Now, that's the other thing I was saying too, Amnon. You will remember that you and I did a test of Bria by Counterpath.
And you could choose.
You could choose, and they even have WAVE or PCM, which is uncompressed audio, which is the lowest latency audio you're going to get because the CPU doesn't have to do any compression for MP3 or Opus.
Right.
We couldn't get it to work because you were unable to get it to switch into the wideband mode on your end.
Right.
And although I was, so then the demo timed out, so we didn't finish messing with it. But they have now come back. They have made some additional modifications, and they are actually listening to their customers. They may provide an uncapped way of connecting. And as it turns out, Amnon, that what I've learned since you and I did our testing is that at this moment in time, unless something has changed, the only codec agnostic SIP provider that I'm aware of, and the one that you should test with, is Get on SIP. Well, it's actually OnSIP, ONSIP.com. If we had tested with OnSIP.com, what we did before may have worked. We didn't know that at the time.
Well, maybe you can talk to them and get another trial.
Well, I've got one. They gave me a license to it because I was on the beta test site, and I did the testing. And unfortunately, my feedback, you can switch now if you want to, but unfortunately, my feedback to them was this does not meet our needs.
Back then,
Which,
yeah.
I mean, it's good feedback because they need to know who their market is.
Yeah. Well.
But there's also who is it? There's some other client out there that is Jitsi.
Is it Jitsi? Yeah.
Claims that they are not limiting the bandwidth. And I've actually been communicating with the guy who developed it and who's doing the coding for it, and he says there's no reason it cannot go wide bandwidth. I haven't been able to make it happen because it's written in Java, and I think it's clunky and awkward.
Yeah, when we tested it, we couldn't get it to go wideband.
Could you not just get a SIP account like we used to do on TalkShoe and go through a SIP provider? They're the ones that are providing the bandwidth because you're going via their server.
Yes, onsip.com is the one that we think will pass the wide bandwidth.
Okay. I used to use Vox a lot. There's loads of SIP providers out there.
But they all bandwidth limit the connections.
That's why running it on like a VPS would be the ideal thing to do, right?
It depends if you want to pay for the service or you just want a free account.
And Steve makes a good point. There is a company out there that we could pay to get. If Skype shut us down today, we could go to Randy Resnick and zipdx.com, and for an amount of money, we could get back to with group video, Skype, and Skype type presentation and everything. It's not cheap, but it is available. It is a commercial application. Have you used ZipDX, Steve?
I haven't. No, I have spoken and known Randy for a long, long time. But as you know, I've never got into the video side of things. But certainly, as far as audio goes, using Asterix and SIP is what I knew all about back in the day. Mike Jorvik knew a hell of a lot more than I did. And in fact, I picked his brains and learned a hell of a lot from Mike. But he's got his own SIP server that he runs from his home. He's basically running his own little ISP, if you like. All of his family connect via VPN and with SIP. And he just pays one monthly fee, and they all call each other, using headphones or a headset, and it costs nothing. They're just all linked to each other, and they've all got through this little SIP box thing that he's got. It's amazing.
Interesting.
The bottom line and where we're going with all this is that Skype is an awesome, awesome service. I mean, when you consider what you get for what you pay, it's incredible. However, sometimes it's too good to be true, and as we've said since we learned how all this works, Skype may be too good to be true, just as many of the services, the Google apps for business was too good to be true. All of a sudden, you got to pay for it, and when they start charging for it, they price themselves out of the market of a lot of people who would like to use it. There's a thought that Skype may do the same thing. If there is, at least now, we're not beholden to them. They are the first choice, but they're not the only choice. I mean, look at the people who are satisfied with the quality of Google Hangouts.
What do you mean?
They're terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, for people that never had anything before, it's great.
It's terrible. Google
They're
Hangouts
not broadcast quality or anywhere close to it, but if you just want to get a group of friends or a group of colleagues together to have a chat and share your video together, it's fine for the average everyday sort of guy in the street. But if you want to do anything even semi-close to looking at something that might be deemed professional or a bit more better quality, forget it. No, it's not going to do that.
But who cares? I mean, this is the thing that I struggle with, because anyone who knows me from 100 years ago knows that when we were in small market radio in Laurinburg, North Carolina, we tried to do things like the big radio stations did. Just because we were a small market radio station with no money, limited resources, we didn't want that to be the limiting factor about whether we spoke correctly, used correct grammar, had decent sounding equipment, had the proper processing equipment to get a professional sound. And I think we accomplished quite a lot. But it's a little disheartening when you find out that all that headache and heartache, that nobody can hear the difference. It would be equivalent to someone saying, okay, this ATR 2100 or AT 2005 microphone, it was great for $50, but I just went out and spent $995 getting a whatever, and nobody can hear the difference. That's a little disheartening. It makes you wonder why you did it. And it was sort of that way. So what I'm saying is that while Andrew, for example, shoots for the highest quality he can get and does it's just awesome the way he's able to get the quality he's able to get. But the dangerous question is, if he were to say, screw all that, actually started using Google Hangouts, had everyone is on a Google Hangout, how many people would say, wow, this doesn't look as good as it used to? It might be disheartening to find out how many people would not even bother to say that.
I think you've got to take into account the market, haven't you? It's like back in the old days, you listen to CDs or your vinyl, and then life became so so busy that it was more convenient and better for a lot of people to have it in MP3, so that, the quality dropped. And to be honest, people don't sit and listen to music and listen to the quality of things specifically now. As long as they can hear it and it's clear and it's not buzzing or got a lot of hiss in the background, they don't care. Unfortunately, that's the way it seems to go now. Quality isn't massively important anymore.
Yeah, getting back to the commercial services like the GoToMeetings and with HD and all those sorts of things, there are a lot of companies, and Spence, you would speak to this but much better than I ever could. There are a lot of companies that are putting gigantic video screens in their conference rooms because they are substituting electronic communications for travel. And if the bigger those screens are, the more bandwidth they need for those remote connections. Am I off base on that?
No, but the it's interesting because the trend is more, yes, they'll take advantage of the big screen rooms, but more mobile clients. That's what's popular, is being able to have. Actually, I was just trying to find a good example of what the company that Avaya bought back last year, called RadVision, what they're doing with mobile clients and what you can do from your iPhone, for example. You can tie it into the room systems. The room systems are good because they take advantage of the existing infrastructure. Usually it's H.323, and you can tie it into SIP-based mobile stuff. But the trend now is towards the individual client, mobile client, and be able, you can have a conference room in New York, conference room in London, but you can have multiple remote users joining dynamically. You can change the look and feel of how, what the screen looks like. But what we're selling now is people have already made the investment in those big HD rooms, and now they're saying we got to tie it into our bring your own device. So what can you do? What can you do to help us do that? And it doesn't matter what room system they have, but we can bring it in and can tie it in using SIP, which is, I think, far more of that is being sold in room systems.
This bring your own device is going to be one huge nightmare for supporting companies, isn't it?
I think so.
Well, it's interesting because we've been doing it now for, I guess a couple of years, because we had some clients that ran on iPhone and SIP. We have something called 1X Mobile, which is an extension of your desktop phone using your iPhone. It just came out. We have an Android version. We have a PC and Mac version of this soft client. But what happened with RadVision was it now gives you it's not a telephony-based application. It is a video conferencing application. And it ties into your directory, Active Directory or LDAP or whatever, and it lets you use all the back-end stuff. And I wish I could show this video of this guy working from his desk with his iPhone. Maybe I can. Maybe I can capture it here. But the idea of being able to manage your video conference from your iPhone. You could you have your own virtual room. You start it up. You can call and invite people into your conference. It might be a video room in another location with a big screen and a bunch of other mobile users. Doesn't matter how they're joining. So it's the flexibility of having clients that run on every device. But the point of bring your own device is that most of this stuff sits outside the company firewall. They have a special firewall that sits there that just does NAT traversal for video conferences inside the company and video conferences outside. And it's got the security built in. Essentially, it does something like a session border controller does, where you interrogate and look at the packets and you make sure you're not getting any denial of service attacks and things like that. So they have figured out how to do it in an intercompany and intra-company. Let me see if I can capture that video and just play it. It runs just a minute, 30 seconds. And I won't do the sound because the sound is irrelevant. But let's see here, ad.
What we're talking about in chat right now, Amnon, is and I don't know if Bruce he's not responding, so he may be rebooting or something.
I guess you didn't catch what Spence just said.
Probably not.
Audio is not important. Not relevant.
I understand. Yeah, that audio is not important. So if when Bruce connects, maybe he could do a Zoom US hangout. You could, or it's not a hangout, it's a call or a show or whatever they call it. You could join that. He did hear it. You could join that on the VidBlaster computer and capture his video through the Zoom.us. The audio may or may not work. It would be interesting to do a quick test, but all you have to do to join it, Amnon, is to open a browser and then connect to a link that Bruce sends you. That's going to bring him up in a browser, probably you and him, and then you should be able to capture his video.
Okay.
When I said that audio wasn't important,
I
meant just to show this video. I wasn't going to try to run the audio with it.
I wasn't offended.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. This is just a minute long, minute and 30 seconds long. But this shows a guy starting his conference from his iPhone. So he starts a point-to-point conference with one person. He's got the directory capability. He can go in and find somebody, invite them to the conference right there. He just shows people in a room, either in a room system somewhere or on a mobile device. He's managing the conference from his iPhone. He's managing all these other room systems from his iPhone. And they're doing collaboration. They're going to share. For example, they're collaborating on a document. Now they just push the document out, and you can fan through the document. Any page that's already been seen is stored in on a server so that a person who's watching doesn't have to disrupt the meeting and go back to try to find a page he wants to see. He can see it on his own, and it doesn't do anything to the conference. You can start to record the conference on the fly right from your iPhone or iPad or Android. But this is the kind of stuff that we're seeing is huge because this takes advantage of existing room systems. That's cute. A little picture to show at the end there. But this takes advantage of the existing stuff that's out there, and it doesn't have to be all that up to date. As long as it's H323 compliant, you can put bridges in and tie it all in. So like a lot of people made huge investments in video rooms with wide screens, and I mean tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. That's great. And it was called a full immersion video, which is where you sat in a room and it was designed so that you sat there and you saw the person on the screen and it felt like you were across the table from them, where you looked them in the eye and the sound actually came from their portion of the screen. They actually had special speakers. You could have 6 people or 8 people at a desk and 8 people on the other side of this conference. And it was so full immersion, but it required huge amounts of bandwidth to do it. It was cool. But now they're finding that the mobile device is we've had conference calls, video conferences where guys stick the iPhone on the dashboard of their car while they're driving. They just stick it up there and they're in the call and we're watching them drive and talk. And it's like, you shouldn't really be doing that. But it's
there's another thing that Mike used to do, Jorvik, that I mentioned earlier. He'd connect with his iPhone and he'd be transmitting live through his iPhone back through his connection at home and then transmitting that out, because quite often he'd be out and about at either some fair or down by the canal or the river or something, a river boating, or taking his dog out for a walk, and he'd be there transmitting and sending the video from his phone out to a web page or whatever that could then be captured. All done via, iPhone and SIP and goodness knows what else. It's amazing that you can do all that just from a little portable, pocketable device.
Did anybody see or talk about? I know it's been out there for a while, but they're making a big deal about it now. The ability to take your smartphone and to literally partition it into two separate not domains. What's the right word? The private side and the work side.
Yeah, the Samsung Galaxy S4 now has that.
Yeah, but apparently it's been out there. There is something available for the iPhone. It's not from Apple, but there is an app you can buy that will do something like that. But what's annoying about my iPhone is it's company controlled, in that it's locked down. It's a 5-minute timeout. to the lock screen, which annoys the crap out of me. You can't change it. It has to have a password just to open it up.
I have a serious question. Very, very serious question. No, all joking aside, as Rick says, all kidding aside, folks. Why isn't Apple in this video marketplace?
Because it wouldn't be affordable.
You're probably right.
All joking aside, not
all
just,
joking aside. I don't know why. I mean, they're the media company. They legitimately own.
Look at the price of their products. Who in God's name would pay for $10,000 to get this video solution? I mean, the price can't possibly be reasonable.
But why isn't it a free? They already have the basis. What is it? What's the video chat they do?
FaceTime?
Yeah, FaceTime. I mean, they already have the bones in place to start building something. And I mean, Apple legitimately owns the video market on personal computers.
Yes.
No, in my opinion, no doubt about it. They've earned it. They deserve it. They're the best you can get, or at least they used to be. Maybe the Windows stuff is approaching. I don't know. But the bottom, I don't understand why Apple, being the big monster that they are, why they haven't gotten into this space. It just seems to me that they should be there in big form.
Yeah, I see Eric's comment about FaceTime was really a huge failure. I think it's probably just
it's not everywhere. If they made a FaceTime client that worked on PC, Linux, it would be huge because it's way better than Skype is.
Can you do conferencing?
No.
Only.
No, you might be able to. I'm not sure. I've FaceTime maybe once.
Well, I see there's enough. Maybe Apple looks at it and says there's enough independent application builders out there and companies building apps to work on the phone. That more important that they provide a platform that'll do it well. I guess they don't see any money in doing it. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they go in the next 6 months to a year with the new BlackBerry coming out. That's apparently going to be very competitive. Some of the new phones that are absolutely amazing on the Android side, and then the so-called 5S, which is going to be the next iPhone version, and the new small one, plastic body.
Bruce, I'm trying to size it, and I don't see a way to do it. Well, hold on a second.
All right, here we go.
I'm trying to size the picture, and I cannot.
Are you in a browser?
Your video's frozen, Amnon.
Oh, shoot. It's because it's using...
Your camera?
It's using the camera. How do I... Bruce, I can hear you.
You don't need to be sending your video in Zoom.
Okay, so
hover your mouse over and click stop video on your end. That way it'll release your camera back to
on the stamp above you.
On the Zoom, hover your mouse and you'll see some menu items at the bottom. Mute audio, stop video. Click on stop video.
Oh, okay.
There you go. That will release.
Yeah, but that released it, but it's probably not going to give it back, and we may hit a blue screen. Now,
why would we hit a blue screen?
Wait a second. No, that killed your video.
Oh, now everybody's frozen. Oh, no, never mind. No, they're not.
That killed your video. Bruce? Oh, boy.
Oh, no.
It's fun, isn't it?
That's all right. We need to
That's
capture
okay.
that.
It's a tech show.
That video of you.
The picture itself in the Zoom US, Bruce's picture is huge. I can't. There's no way to make it. There's no way for me to size it.
Well, you need to listen to what he's going to tell you. He's an expert in it. When you get him back on, let him talk you through it.
Okay, now all I see is myself.
Yeah, it's because he left the hangout or the meeting. He'll join back.
Yeah, I think it's taken over your video now, so it probably won't give it back. You'll have to end.
No, it should give it back because he says he sees himself in Zoom US. You don't want to be able to see yourself. You want to.
I know, and I don't see Skype. A way to kill the It says stop video, but that killed his video too.
What other options do you have?
Mute audio, invite, share screen, participants. Let's go to the settings. So if we hit a blue screen, guys, I'll bring it back.
You'll be right back.
Speakers, volume, microphone volume. Let's see video. Video. Oh, it shows which one. It shows the actual camera.
Yeah. Why don't you switch it to the
VVD?
VVD.
That means two of them are going to use the same one.
Doesn't matter. Just give it a try. So let's see if it gets.
All right, I
your
just did.
camera.
What I see in there now is the 4 shots, and I'm still.
Can you in VidBlaster? Can you delete a module and re-add it? Delete your camera module and restart the camera module, and see if that fixes it.
Well, won't that
probably
screw up his Skype feed?
No,
it doesn't matter.
Shouldn't.
Let's see.
It shouldn't. If he just stops his video module, or his camera module, not his VVD, is his camera module.
Oh, that's right, because he's capturing Skype. He's not feeding Skype.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can just change.
That's actually a pretty good pose for Amnon. We
to a
could
different
live with
camera.
that.
I was saying before we need to capture that because that's the one you want to have on his.
We need a caption for that still, and mine is
All
now
right,
what?
Now let me see. No, I switched it to another camera.
Oh, there we go.
There
so
you
now
go.
try switching it back.
Okay, no. So now that's what I was planning on doing. Let's see what happens if I go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Working.
There you go.
Okay, that worked. Now we're on the VVD in Zoom.
We should reproduce that look.
Bruce is not here. Okay, so there's a new one? No.
Do you want me to send me the link? I'll join it.
The Zoom US link?
Yeah, send me the Zoom US link. I'll join it. I don't need to be on Skype.
Yep.
Go ahead and get into a private thing with me.
Okay, hold on. Let me find you.
Oh, there's
yes, Jerry.
Bruce.
What happens is he gets in, like we're doing a video Skype conference call, a group video Skype call, and what Amnon does with VidBlaster is grab our video out of the Skype conference call. That's why whenever people join and leave, the video display on the screen from the Skype group video call shifts around, and Amnon has to change his VidBlaster captures to establish his video presentation.
Now let's okay, I see Bruce again, but Bruce, your picture is huge.
Quit your jobs, if you want to be one of us.
We need a medic to bring.
Okay, now wait a second. Now I see no signal. What happened there?
That's my end. Hold on. That's
okay.
A non-signal source.
If you want to keep it from jumping around, click on my thumbnail and it'll put me in the main box, and then you can just capture me.
But the thing is, no, I cannot capture you like this because I don't have.
Yes, you can. You can capture me 4:3. Right click and do a 4:3 capture in VidBlaster, and don't capture the whole image.
But listen a second. I cannot put. I mean, right now you're covering my VidBlaster screen.
To make it smaller.
If I move it, I can't. That's what I'm trying to do. I can't. There is no way for me to grab.
Oh, it's because you're in full screen. Get out of full screen.
How do I do this? I don't know.
Click escape. It'll bring you out of full screen. And then you should be able to drag that window around.
No, that didn't do anything. I can drag it around, but
so
I
then what's the issue?
Now it's not really full screen. It's like maybe 10 by 8.
Drag it to your 4th monitor.
Well, you see, that's the thing. If I can't drag it over there because there's not enough space for it. It's covering the other guys. There's no way to make. Okay, you froze up again, Bruce.
Amnon, since you're in a browser, if you just grab one of the corners of the screen you're dragging around.
That's what I'm trying to do, and I can't. There's no way for me to grab a corner or an edge. It's just
Actually,
not. Wait
I
a
see what
second.
you're saying.
No,
You can't resize it. There might be a setting to resize it. Hold on.
Do you see Nick's video?
I see Nick's video. I can grab one of the thumbnails.
Go ahead and grab a thumbnail and see how it looks. See how distorted it is.
But see, now let me. Okay, now you became. Oh, now. Oh, shoot! What happened now? Now you're just the only one.
Yeah, Bruce left. Bruce lagged out.
Yeah, but I don't see you as a thumbnail anymore.
The top corner, you don't see me as a thumbnail?
Nope, I see.
Well, he's the host of the call, I suspect.
Oh yeah, that's why. Because there's nobody else in here.
And there's no way to resize the screen, huh?
There should be. There used to be a way to. Let's see.
So I'm in the settings, and I'm on video, and there's nothing there. And how about... No, I don't see. In general, start, minimize windows, notification, enter automatically when viewing the shared screen. Oh, that's
shared
the shared screen. Yeah, I don't see anything else in the.
So if you am I in the big box now?
Yeah.
If you double click that big box, it will go full screen.
Oh yeah, now it's full screen.
And you can you see the preview window. You can drag that back and forth.
The one above, I don't see any. The only thing I see is a thumbnail of my VD, the quad shot at the upper.
Okay,
center.
that's because nobody else in here.
Okay, now I'm back to normal. Oh boy, so they don't let you do anything else with this.
There might be a registry way to get it to go full screen.
Let's see if
resize it.
I'm gonna start playing a little bit with. Okay.
All right, you guys play with it while we go on to some other stuff too. So
yeah, go ahead. One thing I want to offer is that I have access to standard definition and high definition video conferencing rooms, they call them, that can be used for mobile devices. We should just give it a try some evening to see, because Amnon would only have to capture one window. Because all the management of all the talkers and all that would be done on his own personal screen. He could set it up to say, I want to arrange it this way. I want to see everybody, but I don't want it to switch to the talker and all that stuff. You can have all different types of setups. And I can use the HD rooms on the weekends because they're not scheduled. So
good.
We could
It'd
try
be fun
it.
to try.
We could try it. It'd be worth. I mean, just for fun. It might be fun to try it and see. What it would be like. It might be easier to manage.
Spence, do you have specials?
I do.
It's 11 o'clock.
Well, who knows if you do go and get to do that, when I get my laptop back, it's got a 720p camera on it. Who knows? I might even come on camera.
Oh my goodness! Wow,
Guess
what a treat,
guys? Oh no, it did work.
I wouldn't call it a treat, Mike.
Hey, I wanted to, before I do the specials, I wanted to show.
Hey. It's the Bruce Meister.
Yeah, there's Bruce, but that's only because Nick is here also. If Nick drops out...
Well, Nick's not going to drop out.
I'm not going to see that thumbnail anymore.
Yeah, you'll still
How come I didn't see Bruce show up in the Skype window, but I see him show up in the
He's not in Skype. He's in that Zoom US. What I did is I moved the Zoom US screen to the other monitor, and then I clicked on the Skype one to be on top of it. And I'm capturing Bruce from that little thumbnail. But let me tell you something else, which I'm very, very impressed here. The CPU usage did not go up by much.
Yeah.
With this, this is amazing. Okay, so now if I click just on Bruce, talk.
Well, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know if my
we can hear you.
Mike and Spence can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Very interesting.
Yeah, Zoom US is the lowest of CPU programs compared to Skype and Google Talk plugin, easily half.
Let me tell you something. In this case, if it's like that, even if I have another computer here logged into Zoom.us and I keep it logged in the big picture, in the big area. Then everybody else, Mike, can come in. The picture is not that bad, is it?
It's not optimum.
It's not as good. Let me blow it up here. Yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because I don't want to belabor the point right now, because we've done an emergency workaround and it's working, and that's good. But ultimately, Amnon, what we're getting at is that if we want to incorporate Zoom.us into the system, it'll take some playing with it, and Bruce is the expert on it. We'll need to go offline and get some things put together.
Let me do it
but
4x3.
Ultimately, it may be that you would get a Blackmagic card, put it on a separate computer, bring it in as its own camera.
Does Zoom US support multi-point video conferencing?
Oh, shoot. I got...
Oh, that's what it does, as far as I know, Bruce. It's like a Google Hangout, except better.
Better, and the transitions from person to person as they speak is instantaneous. And, within reason. It knows enough to wait for you to be talking to know that you're wanting to.
Okay, now, Bruce, can you raise your audio? I don't want to raise it here because it'll raise it onto the Bamboozer.
Or just get a little closer to the mic.
Get closer, or go to the settings, and I saw audio.
Yeah. My settings are all the way up, and I'm not using.
Now it's fine.
That's good.
Yeah, I just adjusted it up some.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, Spence?
Yes, sir.
It's all yours.
All right. Well, first thing I want to do was to show off a couple of new toys that I got. One is this rather interesting tripod that I bought. I was looking for a couple of different alternative camera mounts and found this online on Amazon. And what's nice about it, it is in and of itself a tripod, as you can see, right? It's got a DIN mount on the top. You screw it right into the camera. But you can take it with you. It folds nicely, but it's got this Velcro strap. So say you're taking a picture and you want to have a very steady camera, you can wrap this around a pole or a tree or whatever you want to take the picture. It actually works with my SLR, with the digital SLR, with the zoom, the really long zoom lens. I think it would be a little top heavy, but it works with the standard zoom lens. No problem, no stability issues at all. And it was like $17. I'm really impressed with it. I really like it. But the one that I was really looking for to solve a problem on my desk was I wanted to have my camera at eye level. So I bought this gooseneck. Right now it's just stuck to a CD case. You can see here, just to keep it. I got to come up with a way to mount it, suction cup it to my wooden little bridge I have here that holds my monitors. But this is a great gooseneck device that will go any direction. It's very rigid. It doesn't move at all. And that was about $18 on Amazon. But what a great find! I'm really happy with it, and I've got to, like I said, just find a way to make it so I can suction cup it down to that wooden top. I got to find a piece of plastic or something to glue on there, and kind of like those discs they use for dashboards for suction cup mounts. Okay. That said, there we go. Let's remove all the color from this and go into the specials. All right. At Office Depot, they've got a 10.1-inch Samsung Galaxy Tab 2, 16 gig of memory for $299. And they've got the 7-inch version of that with 8 gig for $179. That's $20 off. They've got a Lenovo 23-inch dual-core all-in-one PC, 4 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard drive for $479. That's $70 off. They've got SanDisk flash drives, 8 gig for $699, 16 gig for $11.99, 32 gig for $19.99. They've got Toshiba 15.6-inch i3 with 6 gig of memory, 640 gig hard drive, laptop, $379. That's $170 off. They've got a wireless Canon printer, scanner, copier, inkjet with two-sided printing, $59, $20 off. As I've said each week, more and more touchscreen laptops coming out, different form factors. I personally would probably not buy anything smaller than 14 if I was going to use it for work. But there are lots of options out there. They've got an i3 11.6-inch for $499. That's $50 off. An i5 14-inch for $649. That's $100 off. And they've got an i3 15.6-inch, $579, $120 off. All of those are touchscreen. 23-inch touchscreen all-in-one, i5, 6 gig of memory, 1 terabyte drive. A little pricey, $999, $100 off. HP LED monitor for $89, $30 off. Acer 23-inch monitor for $139, that's $30 off. SanDisk micro SD cards, ones that will fit your phone, 8 gig for $999, 16 gig for $14.99. They've got the Brother, I believe this is a new product, Brother DS Mobile Compact Duplex Scanner. This is a small roll feed scanner that you stick a sheet in and will pull it through, scanning both sides at once. $149, that's $50 off. They also have a Western Digital dual band wireless router for $49. That's all at Office Depot. At Office Max, they have a 15.6-inch Acer i3 laptop, 6 gig of memory, 750 gig hard drive, $449. That's $100 off. They've got a touchscreen 15.6-inch Acer i5 laptop, 6 gig of memory, 500 gig hard drive for $649. Save $150. So that's in the realm now. That's actually cheaper than buying the Surface, and you get a laptop. It's got the touchscreen capabilities, and probably going to run a lot faster than a Surface. Western Digital 2 terabyte network drive, $149, save $20. PNY flash drives, 8 gig for $559. But they also have a special, the Office Max, 32 gig PNY flash drive with a coupon. And I couldn't find the coupon because I was looking at this last night on the preview page. But it says with coupon, $15.99 for a 32 gig flash drive. They've got an HP OfficeJet printer scanner fax copier with smartphone printing for $99. They got a Brother Mono laser printer that's a printer scanner copier with duplex printing for $129. They have a wireless Epson printer scanner fax copier inkjet for $79 with smartphone printing. And that's all at Office Max. At Staples, they've got a HP 15.6-inch AMD A6 laptop, $379, $150 off. It's $170 off, I'm sorry. They have a Toshiba 17.3-inch AMD A6, 6 gig of memory, 640 gig hard drive, $399, save $150. They have the Logitech MK520 wireless keyboard and mouse combo for $39, save $20. I just bought the MK320 for my for this setup I'm on right now. I had a wireless keyboard here. I moved it over to my work desktop and wanted something that was a little more compact. And I really liked the 320. I was going to buy the 520, but I settled on this because it was a little smaller. But great tactile feel to it and really easy setup. And it has power switches on the mouse and the keyboard. So you can turn it off if you're going to be away for an extended period of time, which is great. Up to 3-year battery life, they claim, too. Dell 23-inch all-in-one touchscreen computer, $779, save $70. Acer 23-inch all-in-one i3 touchscreen for $849, save $50. They have a Seagate 2 terabyte USB hard drive for $99, save $20. Brother Mono Laser, this is the basic USB connect, no wireless, no network, $59, save $60. They do have one with wireless networking for $99 and full duplex. That's at Staples. Continuing with Staples, Acer 15.6-inch i3 touchscreen laptop for what looks like $579. I'm sorry, my handwriting is horrible. Save 130. That's got 6 gig of memory and 500 gig hard drive. Lenovo 13.5-inch i5 touchscreen for $599. Save 100. And they have the Netgear N300 wireless router for $44. That's all at Staples. Tiger Direct Store, also known as CompUSA, which the print is getting smaller and smaller every week. 20-inch LED monitor for $89. 22-inch LED for $99. 23-inch LED for $139. Netgear Wi-Fi range extender, $69. Now, this is not a large battery backup unit, but the price is good. If you want to just back up your cable modem and maybe your telephone TA or something like that, and it's not expected to hold up a computer for a long time, but this would be good if you want to back up your broadband connection. This is a CyberPower 275-watt UPS for $29 with a mail-in rebate. 32 gig USB SD, micro SD, or regular or USB SD or micro SD card for $14.99. They've got, if you're interested in getting a big monitor, and a really big monitor, like 37 inches, and you buy a monitor at that price, it's going to be very expensive. But if you buy a television at that price with HDMI and PC connections, then this could be the way to go. They've got a 37-inch LCD television for $279, and that's got 3 HDMI ports, a PC connection, and it does 1080p. Quality might not be there, but if you want to put a PC up on a big screen for some application, there you go, cheap. 4-camera security video surveillance system with a 500 gig recording capability for $199. 8-camera with 8 channels, 500 gig recording capability for $299. They also have a wireless D-Link cloud cam, which it's basically a dome that sits on the ceiling that gives you a 360-degree view. It does 15 frames per second for $299. They have a wireless 4-camera, 4-channel video surveillance system with 500 meg recording for $549. It's interesting because it shows they've got 4 BNC connector transceivers with antennas on them, and then 4 cameras with antennas on them. So they're really not changing the DVR at all. It's just providing a transceiver that plugs directly into the native analog video port. Clever. So that runs for $549. They have a 5-port gigabit switch for $24.99. You've got an 8 gig notebook memory, $46. 4 gig desktop memory for $19.99. 8 gig for $39.99. They have a 500 meg. Now that's a claim, not an actual performance, but a 500 meg power line adapter kit, which will allow you to extend Ethernet across your home wiring, $59. 4 terabyte USB backup drive for $139. That's probably the best price I've seen out there for a drive that size. HT 15.6-inch i5. This is the machine they still have Windows 7 on. They're shipping it with Windows 7. So if you've been wanting to buy a Windows 7 machine, couldn't find it, it does boot to Windows 7. It comes with an upgrade to Windows 8 Pro if you want to use that. But if you're looking for Windows 7, here's a machine, $499 for an i5. It's a pretty good deal. And finally, a 200 VA battery backup system. This is a big system. This would be enough to back up a desktop, a couple of desktops actually, that many. It's probably around, if it's 2,000 VA, I would say it's probably somewhere in the order of 800 or 900 watts. So you're talking about a lot of power. $149 with a mail-in rebate. That's a Tiger Direct. And finally, at Best Buy, I've got a Logitech M325 mouse, $14.99, it's $15 off. Microsoft keyboard mouse combo, I think it's a 2,000, $34.99, say $15. They have a 2 terabyte USB backup drive for $99. That's USB 3.0. And a Netgear N300 router with USB share port on it, so you can plug in a USB drive and share it across the network for $79. That's at Best Buy. And that is it for this week.
Wowie! Wowie-wee. Pretty good. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Spence. It's always, excuse me. It's always good to get an inkling of what the price is and how much we're being ripped off here in the UK.
I was going to say, it's always
thank you.
Distribute the pain to our international listeners.
Hey, Bruce.
Yes, sir.
Question: Are my chat messages not making it to you? Is there something wrong with my? Now I'm going to ask you.
No, I see them.
Okay, so can I close Chrome at this point, or will
yes?
So it's not going to affect the Zoom.
No.
Okay. All right.
So there actually is an alternative for Skype.
Well, tell you what, I'm going to try. I'm going to try and capture.
Don't break it, Amnon. Don't click on it.
Look, I'm going to capture the big picture, see what it'll do to the CPU. I'm just wondering.
It shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah. While you're doing that, I had an interesting.
Actually, now it's running at 90-some%.
Yeah, but the video is excellent.
Yeah, I know, but it's running at 90% now.
Oh, shut down Skype.
No, I think the bigger the area that you capture, the more CPU it's going to take.
Yeah, be careful. You're heading for an infraction now.
Yeah, but the video now is perfect.
Yeah, of all of you there from this, and Bruce's picture is outstanding, and everyone else is like, yeah, okay, mediocre. It would do.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can actually blow it up. Let's see, full screen.
No, don't say blow up again. You've already got one.
I'm wait now. I may go right away to hours just because when I put one by itself, it peaks the CPU. No, we're still running. Okay, and yeah, still running at 90%. I can leave it like that. Yeah,
I tend to run it about 70%, I think.
That's all right. Wow, 94.
Any more than that, I start to sweat.
Nah, it's fine.
I'm at 6%.
I'm going to leave it. All right.
So
can I tell my Uma story?
Sure.
Oh yeah, Uma.
Yeah. I bought my Uma. I got it through Amazon. It was within $1. I mean, there were a couple other places I could buy it, but I got it through Amazon because of the Prime shipping and all that. And I set it up and I applied right away. They do charge. I mean, you buy the box. I think it was $169, and you pay the regulatory fees, which in my case is $4.10 a month. So right away, with what I was paying for Lingo, it'll pay for itself in less than 6 months. So I'll be paying whatever that is for $40 a year, $50 a year, something like that. But the porting, they said, expected to take 3 to 4 weeks. It took probably 10 or 12 days. It was done.
Wow.
Worked really well. No issues. But to my surprise, I never notified Lingo. Didn't really want to. But they sent me a letter with a pre-addressed return UPS label. Said, you need to send your stuff back. And I'm like, why do you want this 4-year-old TA? If you don't send it back, we're going to charge you $75. So I got it in a box. It's ready to go. So, well, I thought they would have written it off long ago.
It seems like,
charging me.
but didn't you have to pay? I mean, I still have the Lingo box here. They never asked for it. I was going to say asked for it They never ask for it when I stopped. But didn't we have to pay up front for the TA when you get the service?
I did. I don't remember. I had it twice. I had the original one was some other weird off-brand TA, and that one they never asked back for when I quit. Then when I went back to them about a year later, is when they sent me the Cisco one. And that's the one they've asked back for. But I've been with them for, gosh, it's over 6 years. So
I have a box.
I had a 1 year interruption when Time Warner made me a deal, and I went with them. And then they refused to make the same deal when I called to say renew. No, we can't. You can't have that again. They were really snarky to me. So I said, okay, forget it. I'm canceling. I'm going to move away from you. And then 1 month later, I get in the mail the coupon for $19.95 a month for the next year.
What is that?
I'm giving you my Vanna White shot.
Yeah.
This is the NetTalk Duo Wi-Fi, or this is the device here.
Oh, I heard of this.
Okay, NetTalk is a lot like Magic Jack.
Yeah.
And only this one is Wi-Fi. So once you set it up, you can put this device anywhere in your house where you've still got Wi-Fi connection and plug your phone into it. Or you can still do it Ethernet into your router if you want to. But I unplugged it just so you could see what it looked like. So. And
how is the quality of the audio?
So far, so good. Definitely, $29.95 a year is better than $70 a month for a Verizon landline. Any way you look at it.
Right.
So, yeah.
My uncle and aunt in Florida actually have. It's through Verizon, and I know there are other people who do this. But they have their landline now through a wireless broadband adapter. So basically, it's using the cell phone system to provide them with a landline.
It's not a landline then.
Well, it's still more reliable than having it through a broadband connection to your house, because the chance of a cell phone going down with a power outage, you've got probably 48 hours of battery time before that network would go down. So it's going to be more reliable than having it on your cable broadband. Or DSL. Oh, no, well, DSL, it still would be the same, because you'd lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, they pay for this service. And I'm trying to think now. I was listening to Clark Howard the other day, and he was mentioning an adapter, same idea, cellular-based, that was really cheap.
Gene is asking, how does it compare to Vonage? Vonage is a service that it's just like the UMA thing or whatever. The NetTalk is like Magic Jack, which you pay a small amount, you purchase it, and then that's all you pay for it. So, Gene, it's two different things. If you were asking Bruce, how does the NetTalk compare to Vonage? Two different things.
Yeah, I was really unhappy with Magic Jack Plus. It just didn't work right. Calls didn't complete. One-way calls.
This is why I was asking Bruce, how is the quality? Because with Magic Jack, I guess they are so saturated. Their network is so saturated that the quality of the sound is really not good, because the more people are in there, the less bandwidth you have for your own call, and it can get to a point where you only have 2K or 1K or whatever, and then it's really bad.
So, Spence, how is the quality of the UMA service?
Excellent.
Yeah, the UMA is great, but I guess that's because not many people are buying it, because it's not $29.95. What was it, Spence?
$169.
Yeah. I don't know.
And if it breaks, you got to buy another one. So there is a risk there if it fries. That you can get a subscription, like a maintenance subscription on it. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, if I can get it from Square Trade, I'll do it through them.
I'm sure you can.
And then there's that OB100 that you can connect to your Google Voice number.
Yeah.
That's another option that people are using.
They also have a wireless handset that'll work with the base unit.
Mm-hmm.
And the base unit itself has the answering machine built in, so you can actually listen to the voicemail from the base unit.
One thing I like, NetTalk Duo is ahead of Magic Jack, is there's actually an app for your iPhone and your Android device where you can actually make and receive calls over your data plan with your NetTalk number. You just log into it. So if you were away from the house and you got a call to your home phone, which was your NetTalk Duo, it would ring on your phone as well, and you could answer it.
Interesting.
Now,
All
UMA
right.
does the basic package. You have things like email notification of a voicemail, but you can't listen to it in your email. You have to buy a deluxe package, which is I don't know how much more it is a month. But there's no features in there that I would use anyway. With Lingo, I was getting the voicemails delivered to email, and I could listen to them, which I never did. So,
all right, Gene he was asking, what are we trying to accomplish with the blog? He wanted to discuss it. I think the main thing that we wanted the blog is because to mention something in there for people who come in after the fact, so they know what the show was about. But
that's part of it.
Yeah, I know. That was the main thing, though. That's what brought it up with Andrew and all when we were talking. But
right.
What else do we want to do with it?
There will also be some articles posted there. Some of the articles that I've been posting, for lack of a better place to post, and because it was appropriate, I would post it on the IAIB blog.
Right.
And some of that information would also be useful to post here for a different audience. So some of that stuff may be brought over here as well. There are going to be periodically articles. I mean, it would be nice at some point for there's the topics of interest, such as this UMA thing that Spence has done. It'd be nice for him to throw a couple, 3 paragraphs together about what he bought, the link to the Amazon site, things like that show the particular device that people may have some interest in.
And I don't know that I'm ready to do away with the forum. It hasn't been used in ages. But if it gets to that point, then maybe
the blog is just easier to maintain, I think.
Well, the blog is not a replacement for the forum because the blog is one-way information, even though you can have comments. It's not designed to be a dialogue.
Correct.
But it is it's kind of a scratch pad, a notepad for written information that supplements what's done on the show, I would think. And it's going to take a while. I mean, it's been there, 2 or 3 weeks now. We haven't done anything with it. I've had a 2 weeks from hell, and I haven't even had time to think about it.
And anybody else who wants one of these blogs, just get in touch with Nick.
Yeah.
Because Nick is the one that did that.
Could you put the link up on the chat to the blog?
It's right on the left.
computers2know.com/blog.
It's right on the left.
I have the screen shrunk down. That's why I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, it's computers2know.com. You want something you can just...
I got it. I have it. I had so shrunk down that all I had was the video and the chat.
Yeah, that's all right.
A lot of people who blog want to put something there all the time without regard for the quality of the content. To me, you don't post something unless it's worthwhile.
Oh, absolutely. And I still... Nick, you here?
I am here, yeah.
Yeah, I still can't figure out what happened there. Oh, shoot. I guess I need to click. Hey, that would be interesting. Nick, put your video on.
It is on.
No, it's not. All I see is Radar Gaming.
Oh, let me restart it. That'll fix it.
Wow, look at this. I mean, now we can have more than 4 people.
You could have 25.
That's interesting situation here. Okay, I still can't figure out how to. I don't know if I call it moderate, but I guess we need to talk because I can't figure out how to control that blog.
You and Bruce can do that offline because Bruce is the expert.
What do you mean by control?
I don't know. for an administrator to go in and say, yeah, I don't want this here. I mean, you remember the other day I couldn't even post something.
Yeah.
So I was just, what is Spence doing here?
Ooh. That's the blog connection.
Oh, come on.
It is. I'm getting the same thing.
Hold on. We had a problem yesterday with MySQL. Hold on. You can keep talking.
I was logged into it.
I couldn't even.
Brian,
do I watch
pop
baseball?
Nick out of the box on the lower right by just talking, and then he goes, and then Nick, you can start talking, and you can come back into the quad.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's got Spence up in the big box, so.
There we go.
Gene, you said,
problem.
can you get answers to tech questions on the blog? I would say generally no. That's there'll be an email address or something we could put on there. The idea with a blog, I look at a blog as like mini magazine articles, and that is somebody sits down to write something that's hopefully thought through and has links and helpful things on it. So there may be a post there that answers your question, but I don't think it's intended to be a forum. There is a forum that Amnon was talking about that would have been a good place to do it, but nobody took advantage of it.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, with the help with tech questions, I think it's, if you call in and then we talk about it and we come up with a response, then that's when we can post it to the forum or to the blog after we talked about it. Yeah,
it should. Is it up now?
Now, Nick, let me ask you a question. Are you Skyped in, or are you just getting your audio through Zoom?
I'm hearing everybody through Zoom.
Okay. Well, I think your audio sounds great through Zoom, and your video is certainly better than anything that you get on Skype.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the blog is back up.
Yeah, there's something is killing MySQL, and it happens once a day. So I told Ron not to worry about it right now. We'll do it. We'll work on it tomorrow. But something is getting some installation has an error in it, and it kills it. And the email, I know the email is going up, and I don't have my phone with me, so I don't know when it goes down. So I'm glad you tried it. There were like 200 and some messages in the queue. So now, I mean, Bruce, what happened when you talk? Let's see.
Well, when I talk, I'll pop back into the the quad,
yeah,
and so if you had, you could have the two people in the Skype or one person in the Skype, and other people in Zoom, and when they talk, they would take the lower quad position, and when
but
Nick
in
starts talking, he can pop me out.
Right, but in this case, what I would need to do is I would need you had a way of putting a lower third on yours.
Well, I could do a lower third if I was running VidBlaster or something.
No. You when we got in, you had your own. Somehow there was a lower third on yours that your name was there, and plus the lower third that I'm putting on. So, but then it seems like it went away.
Yeah. And what's interesting
is it comes on when I just click on it, when I hover over it. Okay.
Right. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, I don't know if you see it, but on what I see, it says via Skype on the right.
On the right of?
Yeah, on the right at the bottom. Do you see that?
I don't see anything at the bottom. Well, it's. I'll have to move it. Let's see. Where was it? It was here. Let me. No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, no. This is a different. That via Skype is just something that it's always been there. It says via Skype, and it has Steve in the UK and Nick at.
Okay.
No, that's the lower third that I'm. A video overlay that tells people who's connected through what.
Oh, I see. Right, I got you.
This is amazing. I don't understand how this happened. I didn't notice. We're running at about 90%, and suddenly in the middle there, it went down to like 30%. But I don't know what I was doing at that time. I wonder what. I wish I paid attention. Now I need to click on this so it's above, and we're back to where we were before.
So anyway, I'm going to post something in chat. I got this tweet on Twitter a while ago. I think it sort of speaks for itself. It says, for anyone not in chat, Mac Geek Gab is where the Sunday morning podcasting crowd goes to now, Mike. Me and Brian Monroe, are there now, there each and every week.
Who said this to you?
This would be Chris Humphreys.
So, first of all, he can't spell.
You think?
And a Mac podcast is where everybody goes.
Right.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's good.
Yes. It gives them something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not bothering this show.
Well.
Oh, good. Yeah. Is this the knock Apple time? Can I throw something into the
Go ahead.
Pod?
Steve, the floor is yours.
Oh, awesome. I had this thing come
the
through.
The core is yours or the floor?
I'm going to save that and read it out on Sunday because it's quite funny. We have a site over here in the UK called techeye.net, and they've got quite a dry, typically English sense of humour, the way they write it, which is one of the reasons I subscribe to their feed, because usually they're quite comical. Anyway, they sent it through an RSS feed about an article they put up. Malware writers stick adverts into Apple browser, which I thought was interesting, so I had a look at it like I usually do. And it says, I'll read it out. Malware writers are starting to take the Nintendo when it comes to hacking Apple gear. While hacking Apple gear is fairly straightforward, once you've managed it, all you had access to was the user's Coldplay collection. Now it seems that the malware writers have finally found a way to make hacking Apple toys a viable proposition by installing adverts in their browsers. Russian antivirus company Dr. Web said that adware for Mac OS X has been increasing in number since the beginning of 2013. I was right. The latest flavor, the Trojan Yondu.1, is the most prominent and can download and install an adware browser plugin in an infected system. The idea is that the criminals profit from affiliate ad network programs, and their interest in users of Apple-compatible toys is growing thanks to a large user base. Recently discovered, Trojan Yondu.1 serves as a pretty striking example of such software. The Trojan gets onto a Mac when the user visits a movie trailer page, which asks them to install a browser plugin. Apparently, Apple fans fall for this every time. This is them saying it, not me. The prompt imitates a common dialogue displayed when a plugin needs to be installed or additional configuration is necessary. Macs needing configuration? Sorry, that was me as well. After clicking on Install Plugin, the user is redirected to another site from which Trojan Yondu.1 is downloaded. The Trojan can also be downloaded as a media player, a video quality enhancement program, or a download accelerator. Would have thought they get enough clues when launched. Trojan Yondu.1 displays a dialog window that asks the user if they want to install a free tube, or tube, as you say over there in America. We guess that American Apple users do not know what a twit is. Browser extensions are detected by Dr. Web as adware plugin, but since most Apple users still think that malware is only for Windows users and that their toys are unhackable, many don't actually own the software. There endeth the article, but yes, as I mentioned, it's available on techeye, techeye.net. If you like a bit of sarcastic, techie-type humor, then subscribe to it, because I find them rather amusing.
Well, awesome. Well, I don't wish trouble on Mac users. I mean, that would be sick to wish trouble on them, but when they get so snarky and arrogant that, I'm immune, the world is my oyster, I don't have to worry about it, all of a sudden they get slapped down, you say, well, if it's got to happen to somebody, at least it should happen to them.
Well, true. It's unfortunate that living in an age where they are going to be hacked, and it looks like a lot of the malware writers now are thinking, well, they're so open and susceptible that
gullible.
They are ungullible, and they're starting to be targeted now, which is going to be a big problem for them.
Mac penetration worldwide is about 5%. That's just not enough to get virus writers excited.
Well, the thing is, you look at 5% of if they could hope to get 5% Windows users, they would be happy. But
Sure.
if they can get 2 to 3% of Mac users because they think they're not susceptible, that's a massive number.
I hope Mac never gets a virus. I hope they always work well. And by the way, I've people beat up on us because they think we're Windows lovers, Mac haters. It's not. I'm a Windows hater just as much as a Mac hater because of some of the stupid stuff they do. And there are things that Microsoft could do that would cause me to go all Mac. I mean, if I'm a kind of a salty old guy, and that if you tell me what I have to do, and Microsoft says you will do this, you will do that, they're going to find their stuff sitting out by the trash can. I'll go over to the Apple store and buy all new computers. I mean, it wouldn't faze me in a heartbeat.
Right.
So I'm not a Mac hater. I'm a critic of some of these arrogant Mac users.
You got that right. I tell you, it's interesting though, Mike, and talking about why you're seeing more Mac exploits. I just did a search on market share, and I was really surprised. The PC market, Apple gained. This is as of October 2012. They're now 13.6% of the PC market
in the U.S.
In the U.S.,
yeah.
So they're getting now the attention that they deserve from the black hat side of the things, because they're getting more bang for the buck. They're more Mac users, so they're going to be susceptible. They're no longer the boutique.
There's this argument that Mac architecture of Mac is not as conducive to writing viruses as the Windows platform. And that may or may not be true. I don't know that. But I mean, I don't wish anything on these guys. I mean, again, I kind of keep them as my safety mechanism. If all else goes wrong with Windows, then at least we've got a place to go. I don't think Linux is the way to go, even though Apple is really Unix. It's got all the cartoony interfaces to make it more user friendly. But I wouldn't. I think that going back, I've said this offline in our little groups, but I think my biggest complaint with Mac is that, other than price, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? But the big issue I have is that I got the MacBook Air, which is a very different format. It's a very different layout than most laptop computers. If my first computer purchase had been a Mac Pro, I probably would be a fan.
Yeah, I think that I agree. I looked at the Air, and Air was meant to be. They didn't really sell it this way, but it was meant to be an adjunct off of an existing desktop Mac, where it would be kind of an extension because of no disk and all that. So, yeah, I mean, they were blazing a new trail, the whole Ultrabook thing, and now they're out there in the PC world too. But I think you're right. It was too expensive and didn't do enough.
And I may still buy one of the Mac Minis or even one of these days a Mac Pro, depending on how things go. I mean, there's some rumors that Mac's going to get out of the desktop, get out of the PC market altogether, because it's just not big enough for them based on the success they've had with the mobile devices and other things.
Yep.
And but they haven't refreshed the Mac Pro since 2008. And who wants that old technology? Overpriced old technology. I mean, when I bought this is my fault for being stupid and trusting Apple, but when I bought the MacBook Air, it said i5. I said, great, good technology. That's what I went. I didn't know that there was an i5 dual core.
Yeah, special build for them from Intel.
I didn't know any better. That's my stupidity. I should have been more careful. But here I bought this computer thinking I was, and Windows i5s were all over the place, quad cores. I think, well, that's good. That's the parallel to it. And I bought this.
Also, it's a dual core?
It's a dual core i5. And it acts like a dual core.
Well, actually, an i5 it's not architecturally. It's not a multi-core. It's like it's a more virtual. than it is like having physical separate processors. It's divided up into four.
Like it's one thing that Apple computers are expensive. It's another that it's at least a generation behind technologically.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always say when people are like, Apple products are Apple products are the greatest, and everybody should be getting them. And it's like, I mean, you can go out and buy a Windows PC for half the price, and it's more updated,
or a third.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can get i5s and i7s for like under $700 or $800 now. It's ridiculous how expensive they are.
An i5 laptop for less than $400 if you shop.
Yeah, exactly.
And Eric is saying that you can run Windows on the Mac, and I've never done that. I've thought about doing it.
So why buy a Mac?
Well, I can answer that, and in a positive way. If you're going to be on an airplane with a MacBook Air, that is the perfect solution. It's not as you've got a full keyboard, so you're not fighting with like an iPad, touching finger typing and all that. If you're going to be traveling and you want to watch some movies or read some things that you have on the hard drive, the MacBook Air is awesome. It'll fit in a briefcase. It's like twice the thickness of a pad of paper. It has its place. I mean, if you were to travel with it with no other computer, let's assume that it's for a vacation and not business. You don't need all your Office apps. The MacBook Air is, engineering-wise, is extremely well done in terms of hardware. It's absolutely fabulous.
Okay.
But that being said, it's very expensive. I mean, with this thing I've got right here, I've got, with AppleCare, I've got about $1,700 tied up in this i5 dual-core computer. That's just about a year old. That's a lot of money for this kind of computer, for this size. But size-wise, it's great. I mean, there's a lot of that. People say, why don't you get rid of it? Well, I don't know. I mean, I actually am using it one day a week now. I use it to stream the audio to Rick's house just because it's convenient over here. I mean, sometimes I use a Windows computer to do it, but I gave it away, so I then had to replace it. So now I actually use this Apple computer.
Hey, one thing, I'm gonna have to back out of here at noon. I hate it because I haven't been able to be here that long. But just to share something interesting to keep in mind, this combination of Skype and Zoom that you're doing, Amnon, really helps to bring in other videos on the Zoom call if you want to share the link. Because even when I drop out now, as soon as I drop out, Nick's going to take up that spot, and there won't be any resizing or goofing around with it. So, and even if you had a guest who didn't have Skype, you just send them the link, and they click on the link. They download that little Java outlet, and they come right in. You can manually switch by clicking on the thumbnail at the top. So I think it's been an interesting test, albeit I'm frustrated still with Skype. I still cannot run Skype. It says I'm already signed in on this computer.
But now let me ask you something. That link, is it going to change every time, or is that a permanent?
In Zoom, if you download the Zoom client, you can schedule recurring meetings where the link would remain the same for every Sunday's show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also set it to not allow somebody in the room until you get there as the host. There are moderation controls now. You can even record on Zoom. Zoom will create an MP4 video recording. As soon as you end the conference, it will create an MP4 recording, which is excellent quality, and you could upload that to YouTube. So anyway, it's getting better all the time. But it's snowing here like crazy outside. This is really, really strange. So,
now, Bruce, your Zoom account, is that unlimited?
Mine is. I went ahead and with the business model, I got the $10 a month premium, so I can have unlimited 25 people call.
And with the free one?
On the free one, you can do 40 minutes, so it wouldn't work for.
Oh, so it's time. Okay.
Yeah, but all you have to have is one premium user. You have to have the premium user start and host the meeting, and then it can go on and on.
So how much is it now?
$10 a month if you want the premium.
I thought you said you got it for $10 when they started, and now it's
No, when they started, they were free, and then when they announced what their business model was going to be back in earlier mid February. If you were already a Zoom user, you could stay on unlimited until March, but then in March you had to decide to go premium or to stay free.
Gotcha.
So I went free. I have 15 people on the team I manage. Can't do a video conference in Google Hangouts with 15. Can't do that in Skype. So Zoom is great. And for me, the company reimburses me that $10 a month. But it certainly is cheaper than GoToMeeting, WebEx, and any of the other solutions that are out there for video conferencing. The screen share is stellar.
I just wish that there was a way to size it.
Well, you just adjust your website and make the move to 16 by 9, and
that's got nothing to do with it. It's because, I mean, right now when I was saying that I was impressed with the CPU usage, but the minute I'm capturing you in that size, that's when we're running it like right now at 94, 95.
Yeah, keep in mind you're sending me and Nick back video. If you were to turn your camera off, that could drop that CPU some as well.
It would, and I have no idea how to do that.
I'll hover over the video with your mouse and click stop video.
Well, over which video?
The big picture. Remember how you had that little lower third come up, Amnon, that black bar at the bottom?
Yeah.
What on that black bar? There's a thing that says stop video.
And it stopped both. It stopped you too. Here, okay, let me do it then. Here's the stop video. Let me click on it. Now move.
Okay,
yeah,
you're fine now.
Yeah, you are. I see.
Yeah.
This time it works.
What's your CPU at now?
And let me see if the CPU, it's still at 90, 91, 79.
Oh, there you go.
80, yeah, it went down a little bit.
I think what happened before Amnon, I think they happened to drop at the same time you did that. I'm not sure you knocked off before.
If I capture, you see, if I go right now and I would capture, instead of capturing the big picture, I will actually capture the thumbnail like so. And it went down to 65, 64, 63, 65. So you see, if I'm capturing the bigger area you capture, the more CPU it's going to take to update that module. So right now we're running at 61, 62, 63. But if I go ahead and capture again, but this now, the video is not good. If you try to blow it up, it's really not good because it's taking a small one and trying to make a big one out of it. Now, if I go
Bruce,
back,
where are you in Virginia?
I'm in Lynchburg.
Lynchburg. I don't know why I can't remember that.
And if I go now and capture it again, the big one, which is so, we are 80, 85, 87. Yeah.
And that's always been a function of VidBlaster.
Yeah,
the bigger part of
I know.
the screen you capture. So, I mean, you...
No. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating.
All right.
You know, it's if there was a way for me to make the screen half the size, then it would be really nice.
Yeah.
I wonder why they don't allow. I mean, in Google Hangouts, you can make it smaller.
But you got to remember that's a web browser. This isn't a web browser.
True.
It's 720p.
Well, I don't think that makes any difference. I'm maybe capturing 720p, but processing it as standard. VidBlaster is processing it as standard definition and sending it out in whatever resolution and frames that I'm telling it to, not according to the picture. But of course, the picture is going to be better any way you look at it because you take a bigger picture and make it a smaller one out of it.
Right. So I'm going to jump out. I'm going to choose leave meeting so that the meeting will stay going. But I would say that the ticker would start ticking for 40 minutes once I leave as a premium user.
That's okay. I don't think we're going to be here that long.
Yeah, we're not going to go much past 12 anyway, I don't think.
Take care.
Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, that was great. That's actually good. Good test. Well, Look at that.
But
now
look at the quality. Look at the video. Look at
yeah,
Nick's
but wait
video.
a second. Now this is weird. Now that Bruce dropped, it's going back to 60 and 65 and.
Or it's one less video that you're.
Yeah, but I'm
capturing.
not capturing. All I'm capturing is the big screen.
Yeah, but the program is using more CPU usage.
Oh yeah,
the more
that's
people
true.
you
Yeah,
add in there.
Yes.
Because it's all 720p video.
Yes. Yeah, now it's all in the green the whole time, so it's fine.
It's good. You've also got the top right of some box, a video box, or something partway across Spence's screen, so he's sort of
that's because
across
okay, yeah, I'm seeing this. That's because see, I've got both screens on the same monitor, and it's way too big.
It looked like he was trying to look around the corner of a box you'd put in front of him.
Yeah, now I think there's something. Is there something on Nick's? If you see it on no, but that's not it. What is that?
No, that's this thing right here.
That's
mine.
Okay.
That's my LED scroller.
Yeah, that works nice. So if we had a problem, we can always go to this, and it's like we said, we can always just capture the thumbnails if we have to capture more than one.
Look at this video. His video is as good or better than the Skype
it's
video.
Better. It's better. And the way that I judge this is by pick him, and then on the web, click the full screen next to the volume. Those two arrows, diagonal arrows. If you click it, it'll put it in full screen, and then you can see whether it's pixelated or it's. If we take this, it's like that. And now let's switch to Mike. We comes in on Skype, and well, did it switch?
Did what switch?
Are you seeing yourself now on the?
Yeah.
Yeah, it did switch. With a look on Mike's face, I was just waiting for a sarcastic comment to come back.
Hold on a second.
Eric says that Nick's is a bit better, and again, some of that is a function of how Amnon captures it. And with this being his first exposure to it, knowing Amnon, he's probably going to be playing with it all week, and next week he'll know a whole lot more than he knows now about it.
The thing I liked about it, which was nice, is it does give you the opportunity of having more than the four people in there, because when Bruce was there and he started talking, the picture swapped from Nick to Bruce automatically, so there was nothing Amnon had to do. That was a good part, I think.
The disadvantage to that, and I agree with it, it is a good thing, but the disadvantage is that, well, it's not even a disadvantage, but one operational observation is that the Zoom.us interface causes, on a Google Hangout, you will see that when it switches, the picture is out of focus, then it focuses. On Zoom.us, it focuses before it switches.
Right. Yeah, I don't really go into Hangouts that much to notice that, but it is a nice facility, and as long as everyone is considerate to others and appreciative the fact that they need to mute their mic when they're not speaking, I think it would work quite well, as long as everybody does that.
Well, you get invited to the Hangouts, so.
Well, the problem is you invite me to the Hangouts, and I get to see the email when I get up in the morning and think, oh, damn, I missed another one.
Well, we do them almost every night.
And most nights, they're like past my bedtime, unfortunately. Don't forget you are...
Quit whining.
Currently 4 hours ahead, but then when we switch next week, you're going to be 5 hours ahead.
Nick is the Hangout master.
I am. I control all the Hangouts.
If I'm up late or I wake up and can't get back to sleep, then I will come in. But
you will be happy to know you're not missing anything.
I'm going to say, but you'll be happy to know I'm not missed.
Is that the Bruce Meister back?
Yeah, change of plans.
I couldn't stay away.
Hey,
well,
Bruce,
it's snowing too crazy right now, and rather than get out on the road, I'm going to wait. I don't have to actually be there for playing tonight till 3, so I'm gonna stick it out here a little longer.
Well,
If you got Bruce, if you got time, when we're done here, I put up the Avaya meeting room. We can, if you want to take some time, maybe the four of us can just connect quick, and I can show you what it does.
Sure.
Okay, I put it in the chat.
Skype chat. He can't get to Skype. Oh,
no, and it's Skype chat. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, I can just tell you, it's just scopia.avaya.com.
scopia.avaya.com.
Yeah, and once you get there, it'll prompt you to say to load the client.
You can put it in the private IM here in the computer's 2K Now chat.
It's too late.
I'll have to send you the passcode too, so I'll do that.
Okay, now Bruce is back. And we're still running it below 70. That is interesting.
It is.
Wow. Okay.
You're going to have a play around with that one then, Amnon.
Yeah, I know. What are you doing back, Bruce? I'm sorry, I wasn't here.
Well, he saw you weren't here and thought, well, we need some content on the call. I better go back in.
he saw the show going downhill fast.
All right, guys, I got to run.
All right, Nick. Thank you. Thank you very much, man.
Make sure if you're watching, go on over to the blog on the left-hand side and make an account, and you can comment and post stuff over there.
Yep. All you regulars need to get an account there.
Yeah, make sure you get your username while you can. All right, guys.
Try and connect in sometime this week. Nick, have a good one.
Talk to you guys next week.
See you.
Take care. Well, Bruce stood up. There's something here about the Galaxy S4.
Had a funny thing happen this past week. In fact, let me ask you guys. Of course, Nick is 16. He's a real techie. He's dead into the internet broadcasting and so forth. And previously, our young guru was Joe DeMax. Joe has moved on to other things. Joe is 17. Did I say on this show last week that Nick is the replacement for Joe DeMax?
I don't recall you saying anything like that.
But I don't consider him that.
Well, I said it somewhere because I was joking. Joe called me this week and said, what is this business about Nick being the replacement for Joe DeMax? And I said, well, the shoe fits.
Let me tell you something. Yesterday there was an invitation for a hangout with Joe and Brian. And
yeah, I got it.
And I went there. Yeah. And
was it a hangout?
It was a hangout, and I stayed there for about 15, 20 minutes. And the whole time, Joe was trying to set himself on fire.
Well, that's always helpful.
Literally.
Was there a purpose for doing that?
I have no idea. He was sitting there with the lighter and just trying to make the flame bigger. And I'm saying, what in the world is going on? You know, I didn't understand what's going on. You know, but then dinner was ready, so I left. It was just weird.
I mean,
maybe
Joe is. Go ahead.
Just because maybe he's fed up having eyebrows.
Yeah.
No, I mean he was playing with a lighter. That's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Well, he gets bored. Joe is a brilliant guy, and he really loves his stuff.
He is.
He really loves his stuff, but he's distracted at the moment.
I'm not sure that Nick is not a more rounded genius with other things. Joe is great with video.
Yeah, and Nick is getting there. I mean,
Nick is getting there, but Nick is also has a whole lot of other stuff that he's.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, everybody has their strengths and weaknesses.
Yep. So listen to this. This is again, it's in the U.S. Internet tax supporters are hoping that a vote in the U.S. Senate as early as today, and I don't remember when this was, will finally give them enough political leverage to require Americans to pay sales tax when shopping online. Senators Mike Enzi, Republican from Wyoming, and Dick Durbin, Democrat from Illinois are expected to offer an amendment to a Democratic budget resolution this week that by allowing states to collect taxes on remote sales is intended to usher in the first national internet sales tax. And the reporter goes, there goes one of the best ways to vote with your dollars.
Well, you're saying now that I buy something from a
if it
sales
passes,
entity.
I don't know that it passed. But
It hasn't passed. But I mean, so what they're saying is that if I buy something from a sales entity in South Dakota, I pay South Dakota sales tax and North Carolina sales tax. I can understand paying. Well, North Carolina, they're going to charge me. They're going to get me one way or the other. They're either going to ask for my receipts, or they're going to use some calculation based on my income. They're getting it.
Yeah.
But so now you're saying I got to pay tax in both places?
Now that means what that means probably is that the seller has to collect tax for North Carolina,
correct,
and pass it to North Carolina.
Correct.
Holy cow!
You know what a nightmare this is going to be.
Oh yes, huge.
And do you realize what happens if you don't comply?
Yeah, they come and close your doors.
Shut you down.
Yep.
You can go to jail.
Yep.
Here we go. We don't have enough problems.
Everybody heard about Bosch? I guess.
I've heard of a Bosch. I don't know what you're talking about.
What is Bosch?
Bosch makes, they're a major international manufacturer of about everything that moves.
Right.
Tools,
so German engineering company Bosch said Friday that it is abandoning its solar energy business because there's no way to make it economically viable. We have considered the latest technological advances, cost reduction potential, and strategic alignment. And there have also been talks with potential partners. Bosch CEO Volkmar Denner said, however, none of these possibilities resulted in a solution for a solar energy division that would be economically viable over the long term. These are not stupid people.
I could have told them that 5 years ago. It saved them a lot of money.
Now,
it saved us a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's coming, but it ain't there yet.
No, it's not. And it's nice, these companies are looking at other people and how they're doing and say, okay, it's not for us right now. And get ready to pay more on PayPal too. PayPal, Google Wallet, and other online payment systems face higher transaction fees from MasterCard in retaliation for their refusal to share data on what people are spending. Visa is likely to follow suit. The amount that PayPal has to pay MasterCard for every transaction will go up as the latter introduces new charges for intermediate payment processors.
But wait, that's whenever you use a credit card through a PayPal seller.
Correct.
That's not PayPal to PayPal.
That's only when you're using when the credit card is involved.
And I almost never do that.
Okay. I do it all the time. It's not going to cost me. It's going to cost the seller, though.
Well, then the seller's going to raise the price. It is going to cost you.
That's true. That's true. This change is on the grounds that such processors don't share transaction details, which the card giants would love to get a hold of, as it can be used to research buying patterns and the like. PayPal collects the dosh from a payer's card and deduct the processing fees from passing the cash on to the receiving party. MasterCard would prefer to receive the receiver to be registered directly, so will apply the new fees from June to any payment that is staged in this way. So they're going to suck it to us.
Well, you can count on that. They've already spent the money. Well, they got to get it somewhere.
I know. I understand. Okay, Mike, here's something that you need to tell us a little bit about. Lossless audio formats that retain the sound quality of original recordings while
lossless.
I'm sorry, lossless. Lossless. While also offering Some compression for data storage are being championed by musicians like Neil Young and Dave Grohl, who say compressed formats like the MP3s being sold on iTunes. Okay, on iTunes rob listeners of the artist's intent. What? Who say compressed formats like the MP3s being sold on iTunes rob listeners of the artist's intent. Somewhere something is missing here. By Young estimation, CDs can only offer about 15% of the data that was in the master soundtrack. And when you compress that CD into a lossy MP3 or AAC file format, you lose even more of the depth and quality of a recording. Audiophiles, that's with PH, who have long remained loyal to vinyl albums, are also adopting the lossless format. Some of the most popular of which are FLAC and AIFF, and in some cases can build up terabyte-size album collections, as the formats are still about 5 times the size of compressed audio files. Even so, digital music sites like HD Tracks claim about 300,000 people visit each month to purchase high-def music. And for music purists, some of whom are convinced there is a significant difference in sound quality, listening to lossy file formats in place of lossless is like settling for a Volkswagen instead of a Ferrari.
Not even close.
Really?
Not even close. That is a quite irresponsible article. Read the sentence where it said that CDs only have about 15% of the source material.
It says CDs can only offer about 15% of the data that was in the master soundtrack.
That is such nonsense.
And when you compress that CD into a lossy MP3 or AAC file format, you lose even more.
That's true. 15%? No way. I mean, that one of my hobbies is the recording studio business, and to say that a 44 kilohertz 16-bit stereo signal only captures 15% of an analog 2-track tape is just utter nonsense.
I mean, if you recorded something as an AIFF.
That's a Mac version of WAVE.
Okay, so if you record something as WAVE, and let's say it's 1 gigabyte, if you put it onto a CD, what is this, a 44? Right?
It's 44.1, isn't it?
That's the standard. CD standard is 44.1 16-bit.
Okay, if you put it into that, what size do you think roughly the file would be?
Well, if you're going to put a 1 terabyte file on the CD, you're going to have to work magic. Because
no, wait a second. No, wait. It's not what I said. Not on a CD media. If you take the WAVE, and you convert it to a 44, that's not. What is the WAVE? What's the WAVE?
The WAVE is recorded at 44.
Oh,
whenever
CD WAVE is the same thing.
No, they're not exactly the same thing, but there's no data conversion involved.
Okay.
A WAVE file, whenever you burn a WAVE file, if you have a 44 kilohertz 16-bit stereo WAVE file that you burn to CD, there is no conversion that goes on as far as the data, the raw data is concerned. The file is rewritten into CD, or what is it called, Steve? Orange book format.
There's no compression at all.
Yeah, and it converts it to what's called a .cda file, but there is no additional compression or modification of the signal. If you take that 44.1 kilohertz 16-bit stereo WAVE file and compress it to an MP3 file, now everything's completely different.
Okay. So AIFF is going to be the same size as a WAVE?
Not sure about that because that's Mac and I don't do Mac.
What is the FLAC?
Black. That can be anywhere from about 30 to 70% the size of a WAVE file. And while it compresses the size, it is not a lossy format. It does not lose any of the audio content by compressing it.
Okay, so really a WAVE in this case, in our case, is going to be the largest size-wise of a file.
Well, hang on though. The 44 kilohertz is what CD is. There are a lot of recording studios now that are recording at 96 kilohertz, 24-bit or 32-bit. So if you take, I mean, the math is not complicated. If you take a 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo audio, it's going to, as I recall, 1 hour is about, what is it, 600 megabytes, maybe 500 megabytes? I forget what it is.
1 hour?
Yeah, 1 hour. You can fit about an hour on a CD, right? The CD holds about 680 megabytes.
74 was it? Because when the Philips and Sony originally went for the that format, they wanted to fit one of the classical pieces of music, which was 74 minutes long.
So on a CD, if you can put 74 minutes of 44 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo audio. If you convert that file to a mono file, you can still only put 74 minutes on it, but as a data file, you could put technically twice as much music on it. That's not a real good comparison, but that's what happened.
Okay, now wait a second. So let me ask you this now. He's saying here 15% of the master soundtrack. So if a studio is recording a singer with the band and whatever, where would they record it? At what? Normally.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Originally, they were recorded on analog tape.
Right.
All right. As time goes on, they started recording digitally, and probably the quality digital recorders were recording at 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit. It would be multiple tracks.
And today?
And, well, hang on. And video uses 48 kilohertz. That's why sometimes you have trouble syncing audio to video, because if the sample rate the bit rate sample rate is 48K instead of 44.1, then that screws up the sync. Now, having said that, modern recording studios have the ability to record instead of 44 kilohertz, 2 times that is 88.2.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, instead of going to 88.2, the studios would go to 96 kilohertz, with 96 being twice 48. Now, let's just stop right there. Let's assume that the studio records at 96 kilohertz, 16-bit. If they're going to then mix that down and prepare it to be a CD so that they're going to burn it to a CD to sell it at Amazon.com, they then have to downsample. In mixing, they have to downsample from 96 kilohertz to 44.1 kilohertz, or the CD player will not play it. Some recording studios have gone to 192 kilohertz. The idea is that more is better. However, there are some very competent studies out there showing that even with true audiophiles, there is a point of diminishing return, and even some of the major studio engineers argue whether using 192 kilohertz is even worth the disk space it takes to record the recording. But not only, but let's say, but here's the other point I was going to make. If you start with the standard being the CD, 44 kilohertz, 16-bit stereo, if you rip that file from a CD, if it says rip this file from CD as a WAV file, that's what you're going to get. That's the default. If you don't convert it, that's the default format. All right, so then you go from 44 kilohertz to 88.2 kilohertz in your recording. Now that file size is twice as big. You also then go from 44 kilohertz 16-bit to 88.2 32-bit. Now it's 4 times the size. All that data has to go somewhere.
Okay. So that's still, you say that the article is not accurate.
It's probably accurate, but he didn't. Somehow, I don't think he got his point across when he said that the CD only captures 15% of the original content. I mean, is he saying that? I cannot even imagine.
He's saying CDs can only offer about 15% of the data that was in the master sound card. I mean,
I think
track.
what he's not what he's not made clear there is, as I've also posted in the chat as well, what Mike is saying is that, in effect, if you like, that they're recording it vastly over the quality that you could possibly wish to put onto CD. Yeah. So if they take from that master and then make a lossless format, for instance, in FLAC, FLAC, it's still got to be a massive file. They can reduce it from that. So yes, every time you compress it or you reduce it down, you are going to lose some of the data. But the way they imply in that article, I did read it myself and thought, what? It does give the impression what Mike is saying there, and that is totally wrong.
So
from standard recordings, if it in just a bog standard, say 4-track recorder of years ago, fine. But nowadays they're probably recording in 32-bit, which is double what was normal, and like he says, 196, which is way overkill. But
right, so maybe if you recorded it at 10,000. Then going to CD at 44, it would be a lot less.
Yeah,
but you won't be able to hear it because
the average person wouldn't. I mean, there's been tests done with people listening on MP3s, listening from vinyl, listening to a compressed MP3 file to one that is barely compressed to a FLAC. Even audiophiles find it difficult to acknowledge the difference. Even on the same very expensive equipment played in a studio or a concert environment, it's very difficult for the average person to tell.
So would you say that it would be accurate if maybe it's a typo and he was trying to say the CD instead of offer about 15%, they offer 85%. They lose 15%.
That's not even accurate.
That's
no.
Okay.
I would say from the original, from a more up to date master, yes, it would lose a considerable amount because there's so much information there, which is kind of pointless because the average person couldn't hear it. But as they mentioned in the article, for true audiophiles, you can go to, I think there's 2 sites that they mentioned there.
Yeah,
pay an astronomical price, but that's probably because they're listening on a hi-fi system, separate component system that's worth tens of thousands of pounds because they actually sit and listen as opposed to go and do their ironing or their whatever they're doing.
I tell you what happens also probably these days. We are so used to listen to MP3s that we got used to that's high and that's great. Quality, and our ears just go, okay, well, yeah, that's...
No way.
With you, it's different.
No way.
The average person, I don't think, sits and listens. The average person just has music playing while they're doing stuff, or they're driving, or they're, jogging, whatever it might be. For a true audiophile that wants to listen to hi-fi, and they'll sit down in the center of their speakers with really good quality pair of speakers from a... Well, I've just been doing some this week, in fact. I've been recording some 12-inch vinyl singles, and I'm not even bothering to compress them, even though FLAC is lossless. It would reduce the size, but what's the point? I would sooner record them as WAV, which is, in effect like a direct, best possible recording I could get, because hard drives are cheap enough these days. I was just having a look, actually, when we were talking about that. I've done 22 tracks, and they take up 2.39 gigabytes.
Well,
so if I was, and generally if I was to compress those down into MP3 on an average, they would probably equal something like, 240 meg as opposed to gig.
Okay.
But if you like your music, then, stick with the best quality you can get.
Absolutely.
Especially with hard drives being as cheap as they are.
Let's shift here. If you're using 3G or 4G to do anything important, here is another article. It said the vast majority of 3G and 4G USB modems handed out by mobile operators to their customers are manufactured by a handful of companies and run insecure software, according to 2 security researchers from Russia. Researcher Nikita Tarakanov and Oleg Kupriv analyzed the security of 3G, 4G USB modem obtained from Russian operators for the past several months. Their findings were presented this week at the Black Hat Europe 2013 Security Conference in Amsterdam. Most 3G, 4G modems used in Russia, Europe, and probably elsewhere in the world are made by Chinese hardware manufacturers Huawei and ZTE, and are branded with the mobile operators' logos and trademarks. Tarakanov said because of this, even if the research was done primarily on Huawei modems from Russian operators, the results should be relevant in other parts of the world as well. Who knows what the Chinese are putting in there? With the way that the relationship between the two countries now, as far as hackers and stuff like that, who knows? Scary.
Well, guys, I have to get out of here. I don't know if you guys want to keep going or whether we're going to wrap it up.
Same with me. I was going to say, if you guys want to do that video conference tonight, I'm open to that, but I have to go too.
Yeah, if we can do it earlier instead of later, it'd be better.
Okay, what time?
I don't know, like 7.
Yeah, 7 works. I'll send an email with the invite in it.
That'd be good.
A good idea to have earphones available because the echo cancellation, depending on your setup, it's done a little differently.
Good.
So
you were saying something, Bruce?
I was saying 7 would work good for me because I got something at 8. So.
All right,
yeah, I've got something at 8 too.
Yep. Well, if we're going to do the first test anyway. If it's worth pursuing, then we can set time
it won't
and have more.
Okay, it won't take long to see if you guys like it or not.
Absolutely. Sure. Absolutely.
With the
more
more
sure Nick gets it.
Okay.
Well, good morning. Again, who wants to say good morning to anybody? Go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Who wants to say something to anybody? Go ahead.
And in fact, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. That's right. Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And while you're at it, like us on Facebook by clicking the button on the lower left. Tonight at 8 o'clock, we have Carrie's Psychic Cafe. And Carrie will be doing free readings and answering questions from people. And tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, it's Debbie and Health Inn talking about homeopathy. And tomorrow is going to be she was telling me it's going to be a real special show because they're going to discuss a fact that somebody in the North Carolina government is trying to pass a bill that will make homeopathy illegal. I don't know illegal, but it's trying to cause problems.
Regulate it.
Regulated. Well, I don't know about regulated. Regulated is fine, but
well, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know. It's important. So she's having the national president of the homeopathy world as a guest. So that's tomorrow at 11. Until then, see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe, Carrie Silkowski, Sundays 8 till 9 p.m. Health Inn with Debbie Bruck, Mondays 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays 8 till 9 p.m. One Chic Mama with Mary Michelle, Wednesdays 4 till 5 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.